There has been a death of his internal struggles and a rebirth of something more. The wall. What was the wall or problem you hit within your current opportunity that started you on this new journey? The backstory builds rapport with the character, then takes the listener to the moment of frustration that causes our hero to start on their journey. That wall is the frustration you felt because of the current opportunity you have been using to try to accomplish your desires. This old opportunity is not working and is the reason you, as well as your listeners, are willing to go on a journey to try something new. This is what drives the emotion for the listener and sets up the correct circumstances for them to experience the epiphany. Something happened on your journey that has kept you from your desire. The wall is often a point of frustration, fear, or hopelessness. So be sure to spend time here describing how you felt. This will help to get them into the same state you were in when you had your big epiphany. The epiphany. What was the epiphany you experienced and new opportunity you discovered? So far, the hero has been introduced, we know what the ultimate desire is, and we also know the wall their current opportunity has created that is keeping them from their goal. This is the point where something happens that shows them the path they need to follow. It could be a person who helps them understand something. It might be an idea they had while reading, or it could be a breakthrough they discovered while trying to overcome conflict. Something happened that gave them the epiphany, which changed their perception of reality. Now that you've had this epiphany about what you needed to do, what was the new opportunity it led you to? The epiphany is the thought or the idea, and the new opportunity is the vehicle you've decided to step into to accomplish that goal. The plan. What was the plan you created to achieve your desire? Now that you've had the epiphany, and you've learned about the new opportunity, now we talk about the plan you've created to see if this new opportunity will lead you to what you desire the most. What is the plan, and then what are the steps you took to get to your goals? Inside this plan, you are inevitably going to run into conflict, which is where we start to get the emotion from the story. Remember, it isn't the desire of the character that causes the emotion, it comes from the conflict they experience while they are trying to reach that goal. The conflict. What conflict did you experience along the way? After the hero develops a plan, they move forward on it until something happens, they start to run into conflict. We call this the point of no return because before this point, they could have easily just walked away from the plan and things would have been okay. Here something happens where they must either decide to go back to their old life, or burn the boats and keep moving forward. This is where you take the step of faith out into the dark, only to find that there's a light just a little further ahead. Most people are so scared of executing on an idea, an epiphany, that they never move forward. In spite of all the reasons you may have said no in the past, this time it's different. This is when the desire shifts from a should to a must. You move from I should lose weight to I must lose weight. Or I should start a business to I must. This will sound like a battle cry to your prospects because they, too, have been shoulding for too long. It's time to finally make the change once and for all. They will see you as someone who successfully took a stand and shifted from should to must. And you will inspire them to do the same. Describe for them the moment you made the shift, including how it felt inside. In all good stories, after the hero has moved past the point of no return, things start to fall apart. They discover the journey isn't as easy as they had assumed in the beginning. If they had known all the pain they'd have to go through, they might never have started the journey at all. Describe the major setback and conflict you experienced that made you feel like all was lost. But then, there was a glimmer of light, one last way you could accomplish your goal. You alter your plan and go for one last final push. The achievement. What was your end result? After your final push, something happens. Either you achieve your external desires, or you don't. Share the aftermath of what happened so people can see the results that you got from the new opportunity. The transformation. What was the transformation you experienced? Here you talk about who you became through this process. This is the resolution of your internal struggles, and is the death of the hero's identity and the rebirth of your new belief systems. As you will see in the next secret, the goal of all good stories is to break old belief patterns and rebuild them with new ones. When you create your stories this way, you are helping people to break free from their old belief systems and create a new future. That is the goal of a good Epiphany Bridge story. The Epiphany Bridge questions, that's the script for writing an Epiphany Bridge story. We've covered a lot here, so you could understand the power behind each section of the Epiphany Bridge story. But remember that stories are simple by nature. You can make stories more complex by going deeper into the settings, emotions, other characters, etc. But at their core, they follow a very simple progression. Your origin Epiphany Bridge story. As I'm sure you can tell so far, each chapter builds on itself, and each secret gives you the next piece you need in the puzzle. So I wanted to step back and talk about a few things, so you can see where your first Epiphany Bridge story fits. In secret number 5, we talked about the big domino, the one thing you must get them to believe to join your new opportunity. Here is the big domino statement I created for ClickFunnels. If I can make people believe that funnels are the key to online business success and are only attainable through ClickFunnels, then all other objections and concerns become irrelevant and they have to give me money. Now obviously I believe that is true, but why? What was the epiphany I had that made that belief become truth for me? That story, the one that made you believe in your domino statement, is what I call the origin story. So what I want you to do for this chapter is think about your origin story and then answer the Epiphany Bridge questions. This is the story you will be using often in the sales process, so it's important to take some time and make sure you create it correctly. As an example, I'll tell you my funnel origin story that I affectionately call the potato gun story. 1. What is your backstory that gives us a vested interest in your journey? I was a broke college student athlete trying to make money online. I learned that people were making money selling information products online, so I created a DVD teaching people how to make potato guns and started to sell it. I was using the extra money I made from our potato gun sales to keep wrestling so I wouldn't have to drop out of school. 2. What is it you want to accomplish? I wanted to be able to support my wife so she wouldn't have to work and we could eventually start our family. What is the external struggle you are dealing with? The external struggle was that I was only making a few dollars a day, and many days I actually lost money, so I wasn't able to make enough money to support her, let alone a new baby. B. What is the internal struggle you are dealing with? The internal struggle was that my wife was supporting me. I was supposed to be the man in the relationship, but my wife was working 2 jobs while I was going to school, wrestling, and living out my dreams. I felt like a failure as a husband. 3. What was the wall or problem you hit within your current opportunity that started this new journey? The problem was that Google had changed their algorithms and increased their ad costs. Suddenly my little potato gun website was no longer making any money, so I had to turn it off, which literally killed my only source of income. 4. What was the epiphany you experienced and new opportunity you discovered? I met a friend who told me about how he was adding upsells to his products. By doing that, he was able to make more money from every customer who came in, and therefore all his websites started working again in spite of Google's increased costs. I learned that normal websites weren't enough anymore to make money online, you needed an actual sales funnel. So I found someone who was selling potato gun kits, and I partnered with them and started selling them as an upsell. After I added a potato gun kit as an upsell for the DVD, I started making money again. I was spending about $10 a day in ads and making $50 or $60 back. That's when I realized that the secret to making money online was creating sales funnels. 5. What was the plan you created to achieve your desire? My plan was to start creating sales funnels in other markets that had better potential to make money than the potato gun market. I started creating funnels and selling products in the weight loss market. But we didn't stop there. We then created and started selling supplements to people who suffered from diabetic neuropathy. After that, we created funnels in the couponing, dating, and parenting markets, and others. 6. What conflict did you experience along the way? Each new funnel we created took between 6 to 8 weeks to create, on average. We had a team of 8 full-time people including designers, programmers, and copywriters just to get one funnel live. We had to glue together about 13 different products just to create one funnel. On average, our costs to get one funnel live were about $30,000, and then only about 1 out of 10 would actually recoup that money. It took a lot of time and money to find another winning funnel. 7. What was the end result you achieved? We ended up getting so frustrated that we decided to create a platform that would make it really easy for us to create sales funnels. The project nickname when we started was ClickFunnels. We thought if we could build something that would make it possible to build in one day what used to take us 6 to 8 weeks, we'd be really happy. After 8 months of programming and every penny I had ever made, we created ClickFunnels. I can now build in an hour by myself, without any tech people, what used to take me and my team of 8 guys 6 to 8 weeks, and these funnels run faster and converted way higher. We then started to let other entrepreneurs use ClickFunnels. Within just 2 years, over 30,000 people use ClickFunnels to power their entire businesses. In fact, in 2016, we had 71 people who made over $1 million with a single funnel. 8. What was the transformation you experienced? After creating ClickFunnels, I was not only able to let my wife become a full-time mom, I've also been able to spend a lot less time working, because we can create things so quickly. I'm now able to be with my kids, and never miss any of the highlights of their lives. Now that you've read my potato gun epiphany origin story, I want you to reread my big domino statement and see if that story gives you the aha you need to be able to believe the statement. If I can make people believe that funnels are the key to online business success and are only attainable through ClickFunnels, then all other objections and concerns become irrelevant and they have to give me money. If I did this right, then you should believe that you need a funnel to be successful online, and that the only way to build one is by using ClickFunnels. If you believe that, then your resistance to buying becomes almost zero. Now that you understand story structure and you've created your first epiphany bridge story, in the next section we are going to dig deeper into the false beliefs people have about your new opportunity, and then look at the stories we need to create to break those false belief patterns. Secret number 9. False belief patterns. We all create belief systems that support our decisions. We've been doing it pretty much from the day we were born. Those belief systems form the foundations for our lives. We create these beliefs to keep us safe and to safeguard our status. And while they've been developed to protect us, oftentimes they're also the things that keep us from progressing in our lives. When I'm trying to sell someone on my new opportunity, almost instantly their subconscious mind will start thinking about all the reasons it isn't possible, or why it won't work for them. The bad news is that these beliefs can be really strong. Let me show you how these beliefs are created. It all starts with an experience. It could be positive or negative, but immediately after they have that experience, their mind quickly creates a story about what that experience meant. Our brain then takes that story we created and it becomes a belief. It's pretty simple, yet that process has happened tens of thousands of times in your life and has created the person you are today. It's interesting that two people can have the exact same experience, but because of the story they created, it affected their beliefs about it. So you have to understand that when you speak to people about your new opportunity, they will bring thousands of preconceived beliefs with them that you have to combat if you are going to make the sale. The good news is that when you know what those false belief patterns are, and you understand the experiences and the stories that your prospects have created in their minds, you can actually use epiphany bridge stories to replace their old stories, break their false beliefs and create new ones. Here is a fun exercise to demonstrate how this works. Step number 1. What false chains of belief might your potential customer have about your new opportunity? For example, if you're in network marketing or multi-level marketing, MLM, a false chain of belief might be something like, if I joined a network marketing/MLM program, I could lose my friends. Or if your opportunity is about weight loss, if I try to lose weight, I'm going to be miserable. If you're not able to think of false beliefs that your potential prospects might have, think about the false beliefs that you had before your big epiphany. Step number 2. Now that you have the false belief, the next step is to figure out what experience they had in their lives that caused the false beliefs. What is the most likely experience your prospect had that caused this belief? One time I joined an MLM, I tried to sign up my parents, and they got mad. I tried to lose weight last year, had to cut out carbs, and I was miserable. Step number 3. What is the false story they are telling themselves now that's creating doubt about your new opportunity? My story is that people have to bug their friends and family to have success in network marketing. My story is that I have to give up things that make me happy if I want to lose weight. Step number 4. Now it's your job to find an epiphany bridge story, usually in your own life, but it can also work if you share someone else's story, that shows how you once had a similar belief, but because of this new story, you now have a new belief pattern, and that the old story you were telling yourself was wrong. I also thought I had to give up friends if I joined an MLM, but then I learned that you can actually generate leads online. The internet is full of people who want to join my program. So I can grow my team without involving my friends or family. I also thought I'd have to give up things that make me happy to lose weight. But then I learned about ketosis and how I can lose weight by drinking ketones instead of cutting carbs. Isn't that exciting? When I first started to understand this concept, I realized that stories are the keys to belief. If I can identify people's false beliefs and tell stories that show them the truth, I didn't need to sell them anything. The stories lead people to the right belief, and they sell themselves. If you've ever heard me speak, you know I share a lot of stories. In fact, during a recent presentation, one of my friends counted how many stories I told within the first 60 minutes. I had guessed the number might be 10 or so, but the total ended up being over 50, almost one per minute. Some longer stories may take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, while others are often less than a minute. But the key is I use a lot of stories when I am speaking. They break false beliefs and rebuild the new beliefs people need to make a change. And that is why it's essential for you to start building up your inventory of stories. Here's how you do it. Step number 1. List all the false beliefs your customers might have related to your new opportunity. If you struggle trying to figure them out, think about the false beliefs you had before you got started on this path. It's likely your audience holds those same beliefs. I try to list at least 10, but normally my list will have 20 or more. Step number 2. What experiences might have caused those false beliefs? List an experience for each false belief on your list. Step number 3. What stories are they telling themselves now because of those experiences? It's important to know their stories, because your new epiphany bridge story will replace those old stories. Step number 4. Think about your own epiphany bridge story for each of those false beliefs. What happened to change that belief for you? As you build out these steps for your customers, you'll notice that you had mostly the same beliefs, experiences, and stories. So just go back in time and remember what gave you the big aha that shattered those beliefs for you. Make sure you have a story for each of the false beliefs. If you don't have a personal story, it's okay to use stories from your customers or even people in the news. You might not use all these stories, but you should start building up an inventory of stories to use in the future. After you complete all 4 steps, go back and practice telling your stories using the Epiphany Bridge script from secret number 6. The better you get at telling the stories, the more effective you'll become at persuading others, and you'll know exactly what to say when customers bring up objections. Secret number 10. The 3 secrets. In a perfect world, you would present someone with your new opportunity, you'd know what the big domino was, you'd tell an Epiphany Bridge story to give them a new belief, the big domino would fall, and you'd have a customer or follower for life. Sometimes that does happen. One good epiphany story and they're all in. Many times, though, once you change that big belief for them, they immediately start coming up with other concerns. This is especially true with more expensive opportunities and big life changes. I've found that there are 3 core beliefs that come to the surface and keep someone from buying, even if they believe the new opportunity is right for them. 1. The vehicle, other false beliefs they may have about the vehicle or new opportunity you're presenting. 2. Internal beliefs, beliefs about their own abilities to execute on the new opportunity. 3. External beliefs, false beliefs they have about outside forces that could keep them from success, things beyond the individual's control, such as time or the economy. So in a more complicated sale, you need to imagine what their false beliefs are related to each of these 3 things. The good news is that if you completed the exercise in secret number 9, you already have a huge list. You just need to put each of the false beliefs into the correct categories. So all the false beliefs you found that are related to the vehicle, put them into the first column. False beliefs about their own internal beliefs go in the second column, and external beliefs into the third. Now decide which of those false beliefs is the core belief holding them back in each column and put it at the top. Go ahead and do this exercise now. You'll be using this information throughout the rest of this book. Now that you have your list of false beliefs, you will also need an epiphany bridge story to go with each of them. You will be using the stories more when we get to section 3. For now, just create the list and identify the number 1 reason in each category that would keep them from taking action on your new opportunity. Let me show you an example. In my ClickFunnels presentation, I initially piqued their curiosity by sharing my opportunity switch headline we created in secret number 4, how to create a 7-figure funnel in less than 30 minutes without having to hire, or be held hostage by, a tech guy. Then my goal is to get them to believe in the big domino statement I created in secret number 5, if I can make people believe that funnels are the key to online business success and are only attainable through ClickFunnels, then all other objections and concerns become irrelevant and they have to give me money. Then I tell them my potato gun epiphany bridge story from secret number 8 so they have the first aha that they need to have a funnel, too. But as soon as I do that, the core false beliefs about the big domino rise to the surface. False belief number 1, the vehicle, funnels sound cool, but I don't understand how they would work for me. False belief number 2, internal beliefs, I'm sold on funnels, but I'm not technically inclined, so I don't think I could build one. False belief number 3, external beliefs, I think I could build a funnel, but even if I did, I don't know how to drive traffic into it. Now that I have the 3 core false beliefs, I have to find the epiphany bridge stories that will break them. False belief number 1, I don't understand how it would work for me. Epiphany bridge stories for false belief number 1, for this, I tell them my Tony Robbins and Porter Stansberry stories showing them about modeling success, as well as my funnel hacking story about how we modeled the Marine D3 funnel to build our NurACL funnel and how they can do that with any successful funnel in their market. False belief number 2, I'm not technical. Epiphany bridge stories for false belief number 2, I tell the story about how I used to have a big tech team build funnels that cost thousands of dollars, and how we were able to change that after we built ClickFunnels. I then show them a product demo so they see how easy it is even if they are not technical. False belief number 3, I don't know how to drive traffic. Epiphany bridge stories for false belief number 3, I tell them my story about how I reverse engineer from where my competitors get traffic, so I can easily get traffic from the same places. So I am plugging in my epiphany bridge stories that I created in secret number 9 that will break their core chains of false belief. Finally, I rewrite each of those false beliefs and the stories that go with them into a secret that causes curiosity so people will want to listen. Curiosity is the key. Here is how I rewrote my 3 core false beliefs into my 3 secrets. Secret number 1, funnel hacking: how to ethically steal over $1 million worth of funnel hacks from your competitors for under $100. Secret number 2, funnel cloning: how to clone a proven funnel inside of ClickFunnels in less than 10 minutes. Secret number 3, my number one traffic hack: how to get the exact same customers who are currently going to your competitors to start coming to your funnel instead. Now that you have all these elements, you have the foundation you need to start creating your sales presentation in section 3. You will be plugging these 3 secrets into a slide that looks similar to this. Do you see the power behind what you've created here? You've identified the one big domino that will get people to believe in your message, as well as the 3 core false beliefs that are holding that domino up. In the presentation you will be creating in the next chapter, you'll use stories to systematically knock down each of the beliefs holding up the big domino. When all 3 of the core false beliefs have been knocked down, the big domino tumbles. When that happens, you have introduced the belief necessary for them to take action. It's all about breaking the false belief patterns holding your prospects back and rebuilding true beliefs. In section 3, I'll show you how to take these conceptual strategies and create the tactical pieces you need to make the sale. Section 3. Your moral obligation. Section 1 was all about creating your own mass movement. In section 2, you learned more about how to build up your followers' beliefs so you can introduce them to new opportunities that will change their lives. In this section, we'll shift gears and talk about sales. One of my mentors, J. Abraham, said that if you believe in the product or service you're selling, then you have a moral obligation to try and serve your customers in every way possible. Often we make the mistake of thinking that because our content is so good, people will automatically follow us and pay for that information. Unfortunately, that just isn't true. One great example of this is Inner Circle member, Justin Williams. His company flips more than 100 houses per year, netting over $1 million. And the best part is he does it all in under 5 hours per week. So Justin decided to take his expertise, create a course, and sell it. His story and the proof he had was amazing. Yet even though he tried selling it for over a year, almost no one bought the course. He was shocked, because this had changed his life and he knew it would for other people, too. He couldn't figure out why no one would buy it. Then he and his wife, Tara, decided to join my Inner Circle to learn how to sell their program. By mastering the strategies in this section, they took this little coaching company they had almost shut down to over $1 million within just 8 months. The term sales sometimes has a negative connotation. But when you layer sales on top of the strategies I've already shown you, this process becomes simple. I'm going to show you how to take the new opportunity and stories you've created and weave them into a presentation that will convert your listeners into customers. The script you will learn over the next 6 secrets took me over 10 years to create and master. It's now been used by hundreds of entrepreneurs just like you to sell large groups of people products and services in the shortest amount of time possible. I still remember the first time I saw somebody sell a product on stage. They did a 90-minute presentation teaching about a concept, and then at the end they made the crowd a special offer. I watched in amazement as hundreds of people ran to the back of the room and gave this person thousands of dollars. It was so exciting, and, as I was counting how many people signed up and multiplying it by his program fee, I realized that he had made over $100,000 in just 90 minutes. I knew at that moment that I had to master that skill. So at my very first speaking engagement, I prepared a presentation that I knew was going to be amazing and would cause people to run to the back and sign up for my new program just like I had seen others do before me. I finally got on stage, nervously gave my presentation, and made a special offer at the end. But what happened next was shocking to me. Crickets. No body moved. No one bought anything. It was so humiliating. I spent the rest of the weekend in my hotel room hiding and eating Häagen-Dazs and coconut shrimp and watching movies, because I couldn't face the other speakers or attendees. It was a total bomb. I was so embarrassed, I swore I'd never speak or sell from the stage again. I was going to sit behind my computer and just sell things online. But I discovered that the skills I needed to sell online were the same skills I was lacking when I spoke from the stage. So I decided to humble myself and learn. I didn't want to learn from people who were good speakers, but rather from people who could actually sell from their respective platforms, such as stage, teleseminars, webinars. There's a huge difference between the two. What I discovered from the best people in the business was that teaching the best content actually hurt sales. But learning how to identify, break, and rebuild false belief patterns got people to take the action they needed in order to change. I learned how to tell stories. I learned how to structure offers and so much more. Then, for 3 years, I stood on stages all around the world, in front of thousands of people, and tested the presentations over and over and over again. I watched closely to see which topics, in what order, would make people run to the back of the room with their credit cards in hand. I also paid attention to what slowed my sales. Then one day I decided I was tired of traveling and leaving my family behind. So I quit speaking from the stage, despite the fact that I could bring in $250,000 or more from a single 90-minute presentation. Instead, I transferred those selling skills to the online environment. I tested my script on teleseminars, and then webinars. I used it for video sales letters, Facebook Live presentations, and more. Each time I presented using this script, I'd watch the response and make tweaks. I did it over and over again, for years. A few years ago, I started teaching this script and process to my inner circle members. They implemented the script in all sorts of different markets. Dozens of them have now become millionaires, using this exact same script. It works. It's perfect. It's worth mastering if you really want to get your message to your market. Secret number 11. The stack slide. Before I ever start selling anything, my first step is to create an irresistible offer. This is the product I am selling at the end of my presentation. I do that with something I call the stack slide. This is where I stack up everything a customer gets when they decide to buy, including all the bonuses and extras. To start this process, I normally stand in front of a whiteboard and write down everything I could create for my dream customer to get them their desired result. I spend a few hours brainstorming everything I can think up, from providing a cool template to speed up their success to flying to their house and helping them in person. After my initial brain dump, I sit down and create the stack slide. I add in the coolest ideas from the whiteboard that I'd be willing to deliver for the price I have in mind. Every item on the stack slide has a value attached to it. The goal is to show that you're giving 10 times as much value as you're asking for in price. So if you're selling a $97 product, you want the stack slide to add up to at least $997, preferably more. If you're selling a product for $997, then the value needs to be at least $9,997. Some people get concerned about assigning a value to each of the offer components. Think of it not as the value you'd sell it for, but the value they get from it. What will the results from each element be worth to them? Over the years, I've developed 6 types of elements that work best in my offers. Element number 1, the Opportunity Switch Masterclass. The first thing to include on your stack slide is the actual system that teaches them the new opportunity. This is what you will teach your beta group during your free masterclass. After you teach it once for free, it will be fleshed out in more detail in the actual course you'll be selling, or it could just end up being the recordings from your beta masterclass. Element number 2, the tools. As someone participates in your masterclass, what are some tools you can give them to make the process easier for them and help them succeed? A tool can be something complex, such as software, one of the best tools, or something more simple, such as a template they need to fill in or checklists to follow. One of my inner circle members, Liz Benny, sells a masterclass for people who want to become social media managers. She gives away all her contracts, so her students don't have to hire expensive lawyers or come up with their own. While they certainly could draft their own, and she could teach them how to do that in the training, it's more valuable to just have them already done. Basically, she's selling a byproduct of her own business. She's already created the contracts for herself, so it's no extra work to offer them to others who are learning the same process. What byproducts have you created that you could offer your customers? Extra training is rarely a good stack item because most people assume that more training equals more work. People want tangible assets that make the core training easier to implement. Scripts, templates, cheat sheets, checklists, timelines, and schedules are all valuable tools you could create. Tools often have a much higher perceived value than the actual masterclass they paid for, so it's worth investing some time to make something awesome. Element number 3, tangible number 1, related to the vehicle. You'll get deeper into false belief patterns in the next secret, but ask yourself this question: what false beliefs do your customers have about the vehicle/new opportunity that you're presenting to them? What would keep them from believing that this vehicle is right for them? What tangible thing can you create to help them change their belief? I love creating case studies or examples to include as this bonus. If I were creating a product about flipping houses on eBay, I'd go and find 20 to 30 examples of me doing this process, or case studies of my students having success with it. I'd put them together into a case study booklet or video training that people could watch or read as proof that the vehicle works and to get a better insight about how others are doing it. The more belief in the new opportunity one can create, the more likely they will be able to achieve the same results. Element number 4, tangible number 2, related to their internal struggle. Once they believe the vehicle is right for them, what beliefs do they have about themselves that make them think they can't succeed? For example, someone in your beta group might say, "That's cool, but I don't know how to dot. Or I can't dot." They might believe in the new vehicle, but they don't believe in themselves. So you need to create something specific to help them overcome these false beliefs about themselves. Maybe they think they're not technically inclined. What can you create to show them how to hire the right tech people? Maybe they believe they've never been able to stick to a diet. What tangible can you create that will help them overcome this internal struggle? Sometimes this element will be specific training that goes beyond what's in the masterclass. It could also be tangible tools or templates that will give them the confidence to realize they can actually do it. One of my best-selling offers, my funnel hacking offer, taught people how to build funnels. While it was easy to get people to believe that funnels were the future, they often didn't believe that they could actually build a successful sales funnel on their own. I discovered that one of their biggest fears was writing the copy for the funnel pages. So for this element, I gave people my copywriting course, as well as all my templates and swipe files, so they can easily complete that part of the process. Element number 5, tangible number 3, related to an external struggle. This is usually the last thing holding someone back from getting results. They believe that the vehicle is right, they believe they can do it, but there is still some outside force that might make it difficult for them to succeed. This outside force might be a bad economy, lack of time, or something else outside their direct control. For my funnel hacking offer, getting traffic was the big external struggle everyone had. They believed in the vehicle, they believed in themselves, but had fears that no one would ever click into their funnels. So we created a video course showing them how to drive traffic into their funnels. For your opportunity, think about what outside things might possibly keep people from success, then create something to help eliminate or minimize that excuse. Element number 6, exclusive bonus. Finally, we need to create something that will cause urgency and scarcity. In my ClickFunnels presentation, I offer an upgraded account for those who sign up before a certain deadline. In my high-ticket secrets course, I give the first 10 people a consult call with one of my sales guys. You can also give them personal access to you via an accountability group, a phone consultation, or a mastermind event. Here is an example of my stack slide that you can model. Once you have your stack slide assembled, you've got an irresistible offer, a vehicle for real change. In the next secret, you'll learn the script used to present and sell this offer. Keep reading. Secret number 12. The perfect webinar. I hesitated to call this secret the perfect webinar because I don't want you to think this script only works for webinars. It was initially created for webinars under that name. But since then, we've successfully used it for video sales letters, teleseminars, webinars, stage presentations, email sequences, and more. It should probably be titled The Perfect Presentation, but our community has adopted the name The Perfect Webinar, so we'll keep it the same. Just don't forget that this script can and should be used in all selling situations, not just webinars. In this secret, I'll break down the script process, then in the next 3 secrets we'll walk through it step by step. Everything covered so far will be plugged into specific sections of the script. Yes, there is a method to my madness. And while it may seem like we're doing a lot in this script, there is just one goal. Get them to believe one thing. That's it. If you ask someone to believe in more than one thing, your sales will suffer. Jason Fladlien once explained, the idea is to have a single point of belief that your message is built around and is emphasized over and over and over again from a variety of different angles. The big domino I mentioned earlier, that is the key thing they need to believe. The whole presentation is created to knock down that one domino, and that's it. The 3 secrets you're about to learn are not new things you're trying to get them to believe. They are the tools you use to attack the domino from a variety of different angles. That is the key to the perfect webinar. When you understand this, you're ready to build out your presentation. There are a lot of moving pieces in this script, and every single one of them is there for a specific reason. Make sure you don't leave anything out. Before we dive into each individual element, let's look at an overview of the whole process. There are 3 major parts. Part 1. The introduction/building rapport. This is where you'll welcome people to the presentation, build rapport, pique their curiosity, and get them excited. Also, this is where you start actually persuading people. That doesn't begin at the close, that begins the second you start talking. Part 2. The one thing. During this section, you'll try to pique their curiosity, you'll identify the big domino, the one thing, and tell your first epiphany bridge story, your origin story. Right off the bat, you're giving people the same epiphany you had when you discovered the new opportunity. This is your first attempt to knock down the big domino. Part 3, the 3 secrets, breaking and rebuilding belief patterns. This is the content section of the presentation. You need to identify the false beliefs they have around the following: 1. The vehicle or new opportunity. 2. Their ability to use the vehicle, internal beliefs. 3. The number one thing they believe is keeping them from getting started, external beliefs. You already identified these earlier, so all you have to do is tell epiphany bridge stories that break their false belief systems and rebuild them with the truth. Notice that the 3 secrets are not trying to get people to believe new things. They are simply false beliefs they already have about your one thing. If you knock down these 3 beliefs through the content section of the presentation, the big domino will fall and they will join your new opportunity. Part 4, the stack. Here is where you move from the teaching to the sales portion of the presentation. Don't worry if you're nervous about this. I'm going to give you a magic sentence that will make the transition seamless and natural. You'll then present your offer in a very precise format we call the stack, and you'll weave in some very specific closes that have been proven to persuade people to take the action they need in order to get results. And yes, you will be using your stack slide during this portion of the presentation. That is the bird's eye view of the perfect webinar structure. After you master it, you'll be able to give a presentation like this on the fly. But it's important to really understand the objectives for each section. So the next 3 chapters will break down each part of the perfect webinar slide by slide. Secret number 13. The one thing. It's time. Are you ready to put your perfect webinar presentation script together? You have all the foundational pieces you need at this point. So we're just going to go right through the script writing process from start to finish. You're going to write a whole presentation right now. Typically, I create this either in PowerPoint or Keynote, so I'm going to teach the next few sessions slide by slide with an image to show the concept behind each one. If you're doing a webinar, this graphic shows what you'd put on the slides. If you're using this script as an email sequence or some other selling system, use the slides as a reminder of what you need to cover at each phase. Let's talk about scripting for a minute. When it comes to presenting webinars, there are two kinds of people. Some like to just look at bullet points on the slide and improvise. And others like to have an entire script written out that they can just read word for word. Personally, I'm in the first group. However, the reason we call this the perfect webinar is because we've tightly engineered it to deliver the most conversions. I believe it's as perfect as you can get. So for right now, I strongly recommend that you script out everything you're going to say word for word. That way, you know you won't forget anything. Once you've delivered the webinar live a few dozen times, it will become second nature and you can improvise all you want. And even if you say, "No way, I don't want to read a script," at least go through the process of writing it down as you go through the section. I really want you to be successful right out of the gate. Let's go. The introduction and the one thing. In a traditional webinar, this first part of the presentation should take 5 to 10 minutes. If you are using this in other selling environments, you can do this part in a much shorter window. Its job is to build rapport and get people excited about what they are going to learn. One title slide. The title slide is the first thing people will see when they log on to the webinar or watch the replay. It's got the webinar headline you wrote earlier, how to underscore without underscore underscore. The goal here is to encourage curiosity and get people to stick around. Hey everybody! Welcome to the webinar. This is and today I'm going to show you how to without underscore. This is an example of my title slide, to intro/rapport. Earlier you learned about one sentence persuasion by Blair Warren. Remember he said, people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. I like to cover this at the very beginning of my presentations as a way to build instant rapport with my audience. Here's how we do it. Justify their failures. Now I'm guessing for a lot of you this is probably not your first webinar. The first thing I want to mention is that if you've failed at in the past, it's not your fault. There's a lot of information out there, and it can be confusing. Many times that information overload keeps you from success. It's okay. Allay their fears. If you've been concerned in the past that you just can't succeed with I want to put those fears to rest. You can do this. You just need the right person to explain it to you. Throw rocks at their enemies. The big corporations want you to think you need a lot of venture capital or some fancy college degree to be successful. I'm here to tell you they're wrong. They have their own reasons for wanting you to think that, but it's not true. Confirm suspicions. If you've ever thought that the government and the banks actually want you to fail, you're probably right. They don't benefit from you succeeding. They want to keep you in debt and in need. The difference with us is that we actually care about your success and truly want to see you living the life of your dreams. Encourage their dreams. So that's what we're here for. I know you have a dream to change the world and make an impact, and I want to show you how to make that happen during this webinar. 3. The ruler, goal #1 The new opportunity, make it inclusive. The next slide is what I call the ruler. It's the measuring stick people will use to judge your webinar. If you don't tell them what your goals are, even if you do everything perfectly, they may be upset because their goal was different than yours. So I like to tell people right away what my goals are, what I want them to get from the presentation. If they aren't looking for a similar goal, they have the opportunity to leave at that point. The goal is always to help them to see that this new opportunity will give them their greatest desires, increase their status, and help them achieve their goals. I also take this opportunity to be inclusive of any people who aren't sure whether they are in the right spot. I don't want people wondering during the whole presentation, is this for me? I want them to know up front that this is exactly what they need. My goal for this presentation is to help two types of people. For those who are beginners, you'll get what the presentation/new opportunity will do for them, or how it will fulfill their desires. For more experienced people, you'll get alternative. Sometimes my inclusion is for beginners versus advanced, but other times it's based on different parts of the market who may be watching. For example, if you own a retail store, you'll get ___________ from my presentation, but if you own an online store, you'll get _________ from the presentation. For the ruler, goal #2 the big domino. This next slide is typically an extension of my goal, and it's where I first show them the big domino. Remember you created your big domino sentence earlier? It looked like this: if I can make them believe that new opportunity is key to what they desire most, and but it is only attainable through specific vehicle, then all other objections and concerns become obsolete. So this slide restates that sentence in the form of goals. Remember, they need to believe that your specific vehicle is the only way to get what they desire most. 5. Qualify yourself. Here is where you introduce yourself and let people know why they should listen to you. I'm not a big fan of bragging, but you need to make sure you have postured yourself in a way that they see you as an expert and an authority. This shows them you have already achieved what they desire. Don't get into the game of sharing every stat about yourself and reading a 10-page bio. This is annoying and does not build rapport. Briefly touch on the external result, but then dig a little deeper and talk about the internal result your achievement gave you as well. These are the two things you'll be discussing with your first Epiphany Bridge story. 6. Epiphany Bridge Story Number 1, Origin Story. This is where you transition into your backstory for your first Epiphany Bridge story. Tell your origin story, the series of events that first convinced you this new opportunity was the vehicle for you. This will be your first attempt to knock down the big domino. Use the Epiphany Bridge script to tell the story in a way that gives them the same epiphany you had. If you succeed, they will be sold after this first story. And everything else you say from this point forward will strengthen their initial aha. 7. Liken your story to them. After you tell your epiphany story, some people will think, that's great, but it has nothing to do with me. So next you need to make it relevant for them. The way you do that is to reframe it in some way that's familiar to their situation. Tell them what's traditionally been done. Then explain why that's hard or confusing. Finally, explain how your solution makes it easy or better. You guys probably don't want to be in the potato gun business, but funnels still apply to whatever you do. Here's how you traditionally sell your products. You put a whole bunch of products on a web page and hope visitors buy something before they leave. Here's why that's hard: you have no control over where they're clicking or what they're seeing next. It's just a big hodgepodge of products. Funnels make e-commerce scalable, because you're leading the customer down a path where they only have to look at one product at a time. And the upsells help you earn more from each customer. 8. Case study/proof. If you have a quick case study of someone you've worked with having success with this, or an example that helps them see how it will work for them, you would include that here. Not only has this worked for me, but here is a story about Trey, who was on this same webinar recently, and look at the transformation he's had in just 6 short months. 9. Transition to the 3 secrets. For many people, The initial story will get them excited, but objections and false beliefs will also start to pop up as soon as you introduce the new opportunity. This is where you transition to the content section of the webinar, where you will start breaking and rebuilding their false belief patterns. Introduce what you're going to teach during the webinar. The 3 secrets, of course, are designed to counteract or negate the top 3 false beliefs you just mentioned. You already created the titles of these 3 secrets, so you can plug them in here and introduce them to everyone. Here's what we're going to cover during the next 45 minutes or so. Secret number 1, funnel hacking: how to ethically steal over $1 million worth of funnel hacks from your competitors for under $100. Secret number 2, funnel cloning: how to then clone their proven funnel, inside of ClickFunnels, in less than 10 minutes. Secret number 3, my number 1 traffic hack: how to get the exact same customers who are currently going to your competitors' funnels to start coming to your funnel instead. Okay, now you've got the first part of the presentation scripted. Next, let's dive into the actual content delivery. Secret number 14. Breaking and rebuilding belief patterns. Everything you have done to this point has been designed to encourage curiosity, build rapport, and introduce the new opportunity. Now we're transitioning to the content section of the presentation. You'll be tempted to switch into teacher mode at this point. And if you're not careful, it will destroy your sales. This is not a teaching presentation, this is a presentation to inspire people and cause them to actually take action to change their lives. The teaching is what you do after they have purchased. Teaching does not have a place in the webinar. It's the surest way to kill sales. Remember, you are focusing on identifying their false belief patterns, breaking them, and rebuilding them with the truth. I'm sure that for some of you this concept doesn't make sense or you got a little upset about it. When I first tried to sell something I had created that I knew would change people's lives, I did it in teacher mode. I taught my best stuff, knowing that as soon as they heard it, they'd want more. Right? Wrong. Instead, people told me my content was amazing, but then they just left with all the cool new stuff they had learned. They never actually implemented what I had created for them. While I was trying my best to help them, it actually hurt them because they didn't shift their beliefs, didn't buy anything, and never changed their lives. I was a failed expert and coach. I honestly believe that the greatest service you can provide for someone is getting them to buy something. The act of buying creates a commitment that causes them to actually take action. Dozens of my friends have come to my events as free guests, where someone sitting next to them had paid $25,000 to be in the same room. The strange thing is that so far none of those friends have ever actually launched successful businesses from the info they got at the event. None. Yet for those who paid to be in the room, our success rate is almost 100%. One of my early mentors, Bill Glazer, explained that I was actually keeping people from success because I was teaching them. I was so confused, and it took me a few years before I understood what he meant and how to change my method so it worked. Over the years, I slowly learned how to structure my content in such a way that it teaches and inspires, but also, and most importantly, causes people to take action. For some of you, this will feel strange at first because you aren't teaching them all the cool stuff you want to share. But you need to understand that the type of teaching you are doing here is the foundation for change. I remember being frustrated the first time I did a presentation this way, but when I was done, 2 very distinct things happened. Instead of making just a few sales like I normally did, I made hundreds of sales. And second, 10 times more people than usual told me that the content changed their lives. It's kind of funny. Even though I wasn't teaching them, I was breaking beliefs that had held them back for years and giving them new, empowering beliefs. This is actually teaching in its most pure form, it's just different than what you're used to. The time for teaching strategy and tactics will come. But they need to come in with the right belief systems first. 10. State the secret. Here you quickly state the first secret. Secret number 1, How to ethically steal over $1 million worth of funnel hacks from your competitors for under $100. Then you transition immediately into the next slide by saying, now let me tell you a quick story. 11. Share your epiphany bridge. Next, you will tell your second epiphany bridge story, which will kill the number one false belief they have about the new opportunity you are presenting. This story will help the audience better understand the new opportunity. Remember, the goal isn't to teach them, but to tell the stories around it to give them the epiphanies that will create desire and belief. They have to figure it out themselves. 12. Show other people's results. The audience will immediately think, that's great for Russell, but he's like a superhero. You've already positioned yourself as an expert, as someone successful. So you show some results that ordinary people have gotten from your vehicle. Go back to your initial beta group and start sharing some of those great results, testimonials, and stories that are tied to this first secret. The cool thing is it didn't just work for me, it works for all kinds of people. Look, here's Joe, and he always thought underscore 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 was true, but after he took that leap of faith and tried things this way, this is what happened. 13. Break the related beliefs. Of course, people are going to have lots of other false beliefs and objections about this secret, right? We made a list of all their false chains of belief in secret number 9, then you listed each one that was related to it in secret number 10. So it's time to revisit the rest of your list from earlier. It's time to break any other core beliefs they might have related to the vehicle. I learned a cool way to do this from Jason Fladlien. We were doing a webinar and he kept track of every objection he could think of during the whole thing. Then at the end, he spent about 90 minutes busting every objection on the list. He'd say, you're probably thinking underscore 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 underscore, right? Well, underscore 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 dot. You're probably thinking you need a lot of money to drive traffic, right? Well, actually, you only need 100 clicks a day. You're probably thinking you need to know how to code, right? Well, actually, you can just clone other people's funnels right inside ClickFunnels. He went on and on like that for about 50 false beliefs that I hadn't even mentioned in the main webinar. I was starting to sweat because we'd been on for 3 hours and he was still talking. What were people going to think? But what actually happened was amazing. At the end of the webinar, we sold 3 times more during his 90 minutes of "You're probably thinking X, right?" than we sold in the first 90 minutes of the webinar. We were live for 3 hours and had a record-breaking day. He just kept breaking false beliefs until there were no more objections that anyone could possibly think of. There was absolutely no resistance left. And it didn't just work that one time. Our inner circle clients Brandon and Kaylin Poulin were already killing it on their webinars, selling around $200,000 a month. Then they heard me mention this strategy and tried it out. At the end of their webinar, they went on for 30 minutes just busting through false beliefs, and ended up doubling their sales. So go back to your lists of false beliefs you created in secret number 9, find the ones associated with this secret, and quickly break those beliefs that may be holding your followers back. These stories are usually told in 30 to 60 seconds. Just mention the false belief and give a quick story or 1 or 2 sentences about why that belief is wrong and what the truth is. 14. Restate the new belief as an undeniable truth. Finally, you're just going to restate the secret as an undeniable truth. The old belief pattern has been shattered, and you've installed a new one. And that's the most powerful thing you can do as an educator and an expert. So now I've shown you how you can ethically steal over $1 million worth of funnel hacks for under $100. Isn't that awesome? 15, 24. Rinse and repeat for secrets number 2 and number 3. Once you've gone through these steps for the first secret, go back and repeat steps 10 through 14 for the other 2 secrets. That's going to be the majority of your webinar content. When you change your presentation to this style, you are giving them more than just strategies and tactics. You're giving them a paradigm shift. You're changing their world from I can't to I can and I will. That's the biggest gift you can give people: hope and belief in themselves. When you go through this process, you'll spend 45 to 60 minutes breaking those underlying issues, and, all of a sudden, the huge domino falls down. They have a new belief in the one thing, and the whole world is open to them. After the webinar, you'll hear people saying, "I learned so much in that webinar. I had this emotional change." Again, you as the educator might feel like you didn't teach that much. But you did more than teach. You completely transformed the way they view the world, which is what you need to do if you're expecting them to adopt your new opportunity. 25. The transition to selling. As I start to move from the content section to the stack and closes, I use a few techniques to cement the new concepts into their minds and make a simple, non-stressful transition to the selling section of the presentation. The first thing is to show them how they could actually get the results they desire most, if they actually follow what I showed them. So I'll go back through my 3 secrets and say something like, "So let me ask you a question. If you followed what I showed you in secret number 1 and found a funnel that is already working, then you did what I showed you in secret number 2 and used ClickFunnels to build out a similar funnel in just 10 minutes, and then you used secret number 3 to get traffic from the same place your competitors are getting it from. Do you think you could be successful?" When you break it down like that so they can connect the dots, they have to say yes. If they've said yes to that question, that means all the internal beliefs have been knocked down, and the big domino has fallen. When I'm speaking on stage and can actually see the audience, those who are nodding their heads to that question are the ones who end up running to the back of the room to buy. If anyone isn't nodding, something in my presentation didn't convince them the big domino was true. When you sell in person, you have the ability to ask follow-up questions and figure out their specific false beliefs. Then you can address those concerns and close them. You don't have that luxury in group sales like webinars. So you have to include as many objections and false beliefs in the presentation as possible. That first transition question will help you gauge whether they are sold. And it will help them convince themselves that they are sold, as well. 26. The question. Now it's time to start the actual sales section of the webinar. You've taught the 3 secrets. You've broken false beliefs. It's time to reveal what you have to offer. The hardest part of selling on a webinar for most people is transitioning into the close. They get nervous and shaky. The hesitation and lack of confidence shows in their voice and body language. I used to get nervous too, until I learned a magic question from one of my mentors, Armand Morin. He taught me that the best way to make that transition is to simply say, "Let me ask you a question." That's the secret. It takes off all pressure and lets you make a seamless transition. I then ask them a few things. How many of you are excited about what we just talked about? How many of you are feeling a little overwhelmed because we've covered so much? Then I try to get them to laugh by showing them a picture of someone with a fire hose in their mouth. That usually gets a laugh, and it allows me to explain how it's impossible to show them everything they need to get results in a 60-minute presentation, but that I tried to cover as much as possible. I tell them that I created a special package for those who are ready to move forward and want to implement this new opportunity. Then I ask permission to share it with them. Is it okay with you if I spend 10 minutes going over a very special offer I created to help you implement underscore 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 underscore? Then I wait until they say yes or I see heads nodding. I want them to say yes first. Once you get permission, all the awkward feelings about selling disappear. In the rare times when no one speaks or there is an awkward silence, I say something like, "All right, it's totally fine if you guys don't want to know this stuff. I already know it. This isn't about me, this is for you. Are you okay if I spend 10 minutes and show you how it can change your life?" If you've followed the script up to this point, they're going to say yes and you can introduce your offer. This transition helps you recap everything you've said in the webinar up to that point, and once again sets those new belief patterns in place. Once you transition into your sales pitch, you're going to use one of my favorite techniques, the stack. Secret number 15. The stack. I consider this my secret weapon. I learned it after watching Armand Morin speak on stage in front of over 1,000 people. He closed nearly half the room with almost no effort. I pulled him aside to find out what he was doing, and he explained the stack. I started using it immediately and went from closing an average 5 to 10% of a room at a live event to consistently closing 40% or more. Then I started using it on my sales webinars and saw a dramatic increase in sales each time. It's worked so well and so consistently that I will never give a sales presentation again without it. The big idea is that the only thing prospects remember when you sell is the last thing you showed them. He explained that most sales presentations focus on the core offer, then a list of bonuses and a call to action. So all people remember is the last bonus mentioned. If they don't think the last thing you offered is worth the price, they simply won't buy. Remember the stack slide you made back in secret number 9? It's time to use it. As you go through the offer with your audience, you'll explain the first element of your offer, then show it on the stack slide, all by itself. Then reveal the second element of your offer, and come back to the stack slide that shows the first element along with the second one. You do this for each element in the offer you talk about it, then add it to the stack slide. So the audience sees the value adding up. The last thing you show them before you reveal the price is the full stack slide with the entire offer. When you present this way, the audience associates the price with the full offer, and not just the last thing you mentioned. I'm going to walk you through all the slides I normally use with my stack, so you can see how this works. I always lead in with the transition question from the last chapter, then I start revealing what they're going to get. 27. What you're gonna get. Here I usually show a digital image representing the course content. I explain that when they invest right away, they will get instant access to my masterclass. 28. Quick high-level recap of deliverables. A big mistake people make is going deep into each module explaining what will be covered each week. Don't do that. It overwhelms and confuses your audience. Just give them a high-level look at each module. Go through this really quickly. It should only take about 30 seconds. Here's what we're going to cover. Week 1. We're going to talk about underscore. Week 2, we'll go over underscore. Week 3, we dive into underscore. Then by week 4, you'll be ready for underscore. Week 5 we look at underscore. And finally, in week 6, we wrap it all up with underscore. Now let me show you some people who've had a chance to go through this. 29. Show 3 case studies. Here you will highlight the success stories from the beta group you ran earlier. Over time, you'll add in other success stories as they happen. Let me introduce you to Tell Case Study #1. Then there's Tell Case Study #2. And probably my favorite story is Tell Case Study #3. 30. Who this works for, all inclusive. After you present the case studies, people often think, that's great, but it won't work for me. They think, that person lives in Australia. Or that person is in a different industry. They think their business or personal circumstances are different from the case study details, so it won't work for them. This is where you make a blanket statement about all the different people it works for. Be as inclusive as possible here. So I want to go back and make sure you realize who this is for. Business example, it's for people just starting out or those who are already successful and want to scale. Weight loss example, it's for people who have 100 pounds to lose or those who only have 5 more to go. It even helps people who don't need to lose weight, but want to build healthy muscle. 31. Destroy the number one reason people don't get started. Usually there's a common reason people don't get started right away. It's the elephant in the room. Address it head on so they don't keep thinking about it through the rest of your presentation. The biggest excuse I hear with ClickFunnels is that they don't have a product to sell yet. So I tell them they don't need to have a product. They can use affiliate products. And we actually teach them how to make a product, if that's what they want to do. Destroy your audience's number one objection about the training right here. You might be thinking you can't get started with this because. Here's why that's a mistake that will hold you back from success. 32. Stack slide number 1. Reveal the first stack slide with the 6-week masterclass on it. Be sure to include the value of the item on the slide. When you sign up, you're going to get instant access to my 6-week masterclass, a total value of $$______________________________. 33. Introduce element number 2, the tools. It's time to introduce the tools you created on your stack slide in secret number 11. I tell them that when they invest today, they will also receive this extra cool thing. Quickly review the tools they're going to get. Don't go too deep or you'll overwhelm people. As part of this package, you're going to get. It's a tool to help you. 34. You'll be able to get rid of. I want them to realize that investing in this thing shouldn't cost them any money, it should only save them money. So remind them what they are now able to do, but also what they will be able to get rid of. Hopefully the money they save will be more than what they are actually paying. That way, it's a truly irresistible offer. When you have this tool, you'll be able to underscore. When you have this tool, you'll be able to get rid of underscore. 35. The problem this tool solved for you. When I was first figuring this stuff out, I ran into a big roadblock. I didn't know how to underscore. So I had to create underscore for myself. 36. How much time/money this tool will save them. Talk about all the time and money you had to spend to overcome that big roadblock that the tool saved you from. Maybe you had to spend a year developing email templates, or you had to hire expensive lawyers to draft just the right contracts. Then explain that they won't have to because you're just going to include the tool for them. Way back then, I had to spend underscore and underscore to figure out an efficient way to handle this problem. But I don't want you to have to recreate the wheel. I've already got proven underscore. And I'm just going to give it /them to you with this package. Sound cool? When you use this tool, not only do you save the time and money I spent to develop it, but you also save what could be months or years of wasted time and money because you'll be doing it right the first time. There's no trial and error period. 37. Break related beliefs about the tools. As we've done in other sections, here I mention any false beliefs they may have about the tools or their abilities to use them, and I quickly break and rebuild those belief patterns. 38. Stack slide number 2. This is where the magic starts happening. Show the stack slide again with the masterclass on top and the tools on the second line. Then update the total value price at the bottom to show what the offer is now worth. 39. Introduce tangible byproduct number 1, related to secret number 1. Here you introduce the next component of the offer they'll receive when they invest. It's the tangible byproduct you identified previously. When you invest today, you're also going to get access to underscore 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 underscore, which will help you with underscore 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 underscore. 40 Pain and cost. Here you talk again about the pain and cost you had to go through to create this first byproduct. I had to go through underscore 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 and underscore 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 to get underscore 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 underscore. But you won't have to, because I'm giving you underscore 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 as a special bonus. 41 Ease and speed for them. Whatever the pain and cost was to you doesn't matter, because the bonus is going to make it easier and faster for them to get results. This bonus is going to make it faster and easier for you to underscore 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 underscore. How? Because it underscore 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 underscore. 42 Break related beliefs. As we've done in other sections, here I discuss any false beliefs they may have about the bonus or their abilities to use it. Then I quickly break and rebuild those belief patterns. 43 Stack slide number 3. Do you see how this works now? You mention an element, then add it to the stack. Mention another element and add it to the stack. Sometimes you may feel you're getting repetitive, but that is the key. It helps your audience understand the offer completely. The first few times I did this, I felt silly each time I rest acted. But after I added it, and started closing 300% more people during my presentations, I quickly stopped feeling silly. This is the key to success when selling to the masses. 44, 53. Introduce your other two tangible byproducts. Repeat steps 39 through 43 for your second and third tangibles. Show the pain and costs you had to go through to create it, then show the ease and speed of use this will create for them. Break any false beliefs, then stack again. After you've done that for the second and third tangibles, you have your full stack slide. 54 Stack slide number 5, the big stack. I call this the big stack slide, because it has the entire contents of your offer, including the value of each piece. You also want to total everything up and have the value be 10 times as much as the actual price will be. If the value doesn't reach that level, consider adding something more valuable to your offer. It should look something like this. 55 If/all statements. Now that we've given them the big value price, we need to convince them that this offer is actually worth that much and get them to admit it to themselves. We do that by using something Dave Van Hoos calls if/all statements. An if/all statement reads like this: if all this package did was underscore 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 underscore, would it be worth dollar underscore 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 underscore. I usually transition by saying something like, now obviously, I'm not going to charge you $11,552. But if I did charge you $11,552, and all it did was underscore 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 underscore, would it be worth it to you? Then do 3 if/all statements based on your 3 secrets. Vehicle, secret number 1. If all this system did/got you was underscore 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 underscore, related to secret number 1, would it be worth dollar underscore 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 underscore? Stop and wait for them to indicate yes. Internal, secret number 2, and if all it did was underscore 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 underscore, related to secret number 2, would it be worth dollar underscore 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 underscore? Stop and wait for them to indicate yes. External, secret number 3, And what if all it did was underscore 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 underscore, related to secret number 3, then would it be worth it? Stop and wait for them to indicate yes. They've now said yes 3 times when you ask them if what you are selling is actually worth the total value, usually a 10-time markup. Now when you discount the price to what you're actually selling it for, they are getting a 90% discount from what they believe, and have said, it's worth. 56. I had 2 choices. I like to use the I had 2 choices clause at this point because it gets them to agree that you should charge them more in order to make the program better. I had 2 choices with this. I could go as cheap as possible and try to sell as many as possible. But the problem with that is I couldn't really stack on the value for you. So I decided to go with the second option, which obviously requires a slightly higher investment on your side. But in exchange for that, we can dedicate more time, energy, and resources to help guarantee your success. 57. What would the end result be worth? Before you reveal the actual price, ask them what the end result would be worth to them. So if you had a successful funnel today that was making you money, what would it be worth to you? And then I stop and wait for them to answer that question in their minds. How much would you pay to have that one successful funnel? And then I stop and wait for them to think about it for a few seconds. You can probably see why people pay $__________ for a similar result from me, because it's not a cost, it's an investment. 58. Price drop. Now I come back to the full price I showed them right before the if/all statements. You've already seen how it's worth $____________________________________________________________________________ $___________________________________________________________________________, which I charge the public, it's a great deal. But because of __________________________________________________________________________________________ Price reveal. Here is the first time you reveal. Here is the first time you reveal the actual price. Tell them the real price and give your first call to action, asking them to click on a button, go to a certain website, or call a phone number. Every slide after this will have a call to action link, so when they are ready, they can sign up. 60. Price justification. For years, I ended my sales presentations with the price on the last slide. As I gained experience, I realized that the elements that come after the initial price reveal are vitally important to closing the sale. So we give the initial price, and some people will still have sticker shock. I need to let that price marinate for a while as I justify why it's actually not that expensive. My first price justification is usually related to either showing them what the full price would be outside of the current presentation or comparing it to the price of other options for getting a similar result, apples versus oranges. Full price example. Now let me put this into perspective for you. If you went to my regular website right now, you could buy this same product for $________________________________________________________________________________________________________________________h. But because you've invested this time with me, and you've proven that you really want to get this result, I'm making a special offer just for this webinar. Apples versus oranges example. If you were to hire a professional to do this for you, it might cost $____________________________________________________________________________________________________But because you're learning how to do it yourself and I'm giving you all the tools and resources to make it happen fast, you only pay $_________________________________________________________________________________________________________ Now I like to mention the choices they can make. So at this point you have 2 choices. Choice number 1 is to do nothing. If you do nothing with the information you've learned over the last hour, what will you get? Nothing. Or you can choose to take a leap of faith. Just test it out to see if it will work for you. 62. Guarantee. Then I reveal that it's okay if it doesn't work for them, because they're covered with our 30-day money-back guarantee. They can test drive it now and see if it will work for them. They have nothing to lose. 63. The real question is this. Now that they know they have nothing to lose, I like to make their choice as simple as possible. Help them see that this really is a no-brainer. The real question is this: is it worth gambling a few minutes of your time to check this out? Even if it only does half of what I've claimed today, it will pay for itself as soon as underscore 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 underscore. 64. Stack slide. Next I show them the big stack slide one last time, with everything they're going to get and the total value. I go through each element line by line one last time to cement the offer in their minds before my final pitch. 65. Urgency/scarcity bonus. The two most valuable tools in marketing are urgency and scarcity. Here you're going to add a bonus upgrade that's only available right then. You can create urgency and scarcity by offering something special to a certain number of people, or for a certain amount of time, or both. Do not skip this part. It is the key to getting people to buy immediately. If they leave the webinar, the chances of them coming back and buying later are almost zero. In fact, I usually give a bonus only for those who are actually on live that I don't offer to those who only watch the replays later. That encourages people to show up live, but it also gives them a reason to sign up before the presentation is over. The deadline is the key. 66. Closing call to action/Q&A slide. This is the slide I end my presentation with, and it stays up during the entire question and answer session. There are a few key components to this slide. Recap of the offer, countdown clock for 30 minutes, price, call to action, then it's time to answer questions. Sometimes I'll take questions live from the audience, and other times I'll actually pre-write many of the questions I know people typically have. I then go through those questions, and give another call to action after each one. That gives me lots of opportunities to repeat the link for people to buy. I also try to think about any other false beliefs they may still have, then use our sentence, "You're probably thinking underscore 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 underscore, right?" And that is the stack. That single concept has made me more money than anything else I've ever done in this business. Study it. Master it. There is no greater gift I could give you than this. Secret number 16. Trial closes. I use two types of closes in my presentations. The first type, trial closes, I use almost every 60 seconds or less. The other I use throughout the stack. You'll want to use both kinds in your presentations as well. Let's take a look at each of them and how they work. Trial closes. Years ago, I had heard rumors of a guy nicknamed the Pied Piper of real estate. His real name is Ted Thomas, and he is a real estate speaker famous for being so good at selling from the stage that he would have hundreds of people line up behind him, waving their credit cards in the air, and walk with him to the back of the room to buy his program. One day I had the chance to witness this in person, and it was one of the coolest things I had ever seen. A few years later, I was speaking at an event and noticed that Ted was in the audience. I was so nervous. One of the best closers in the world was about to watch me try to close this room. I did my best to ignore the butterflies in my stomach and delivered a pretty good presentation. While I did get a lot of sign-ups, I didn't get a huge table rush. After my presentation, Ted introduced himself and invited me to lunch. As we ate, he started asking me casual questions. After a few minutes, he started to grin. I asked him why he was smiling. He laughed and said, "What's your head doing right now?" I realized I was nodding my head up and down and had been since the moment we started talking. He said, "What I've been doing is a little technique I call trial closes. I've been asking you dozens of little yes or no questions where the only answer is yes. You instantly started nodding, and you didn't stop until I pointed it out just now." He then went on to explain that the reason I didn't get a table rush was because the first time I asked the audience to say yes was when I was asking for their money. When you watch me speak, you'll notice that all the heads in the audience are nodding the entire time. I am constantly asking simple questions to get people to say yes over and over again, so when I ask them to give me money at the end, they've already told me yes hundreds of times before that. I thought that was pretty cool. But to be completely honest, I thought he was oversimplifying his skills. I didn't think his trial closes could possibly have that big of an impact on sales. But I decided to test it out. At the time, I had an automated webinar that had been running profitably for 5 or 6 months. I listened to the recording and found a few dozen places where I could add in trial closes. I recorded just the trial closes and inserted them into the audio file. I didn't expect much, but what happened was amazing. That webinar went from making $9.45 per registrant to $16.50 per registrant just by me adding in the trial closes. From that day forward, I was sold. I wrote out simple trial closes on note cards and put them around my desk. As I worked through my various presentations, every time I'd see a card, I'd use that trial close. Here are some examples of trial closes that I've used dozens of times in each of my presentations. Are you ready to get started? Are you all getting this? Is this making sense? Can you imagine if that happened to you? Who here wants a free copy of underscore 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 underscore? Would you like to be our next case study? You've heard them talk about this before, right? Isn't that cool? Isn't that exciting? Am I right? Can you see yourself doing underscore 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 underscore? I'm sure you've noticed this too, right? I could go on and on. It's become ingrained in how I write and speak. You've seen me using trial closes throughout this book, haven't you? See what I did there? Whoa. I did it again, didn't I? Get used to using lots of little statements that get your audience to think or say yes over and over again. The more you can get them to say yes, the more likely they will accept the epiphanies you've shared with them and the offer presented. Trial closes are a huge part of telling effective stories. The 16 closes. When you get to the end of the presentation and start the stack, there are lots of really good closes you can use. But I have 16 favorites that I use repeatedly. I don't use all of them in all presentations, but I pick a handful of those that help strengthen my argument. I already built some of my favorites into the stack for you above. I want to show you all of them though, so you can pick and choose which ones to plug into your presentations. Some will work better than others for different types of presentations. So just choose the ones that flow naturally and make the most sense. For each close below, I will briefly explain the concept then show you how I would use that close in my own presentations. Money is good. The goal is to get people to disassociate their fear about spending money with you. Money is a tool for exchange. You spend money to get something greater in return. So I want you to think about something for a minute. What is money? A lot of people have fear about money, and even bigger fears about spending money, but you need to understand that money is good. It's just a tool that was created for exchange. Other than that, there is no real value in money. You can't use it to stay warm, you can't eat it, you can only trade it for something else that you want. Just think, everyone who exchanges money for something does it because they feel that what they are getting in exchange is greater than keeping the money or using it for something else. At least that's what I expect when I buy something. I don't actually know for sure until I do buy it and try it out, and can see the results. But my question for you is this. Would you exchange that money for those results? If the answer is yes, then you need to get started right now. And if you have any fear that it might not be what you expected, or that you might not be able to get those results, just let us know, and we'll give you your money back. Disposable income, the goal is to help them realize that they are spending the disposable income on things that aren't serving them well, and by spending that money on things that will help them grow, they will have long-term fulfillment. When you use the disposable income close, they get that they do have the money to invest. Most people in this world live paycheck to paycheck. Every couple of weeks they get paid and they pay their fixed costs like rent and food. Then there's usually some money left over. We call that disposable income. Most people are going to blow that every single month. If they have $1,000 in disposable income, they're going to spend it until it's gone. They might spend it on movies or ice cream or travel, all short-term pleasures that are gone in an instant. But the cool thing is that money replenishes. Every 2 weeks, boom, there's another $1,000 in disposable income they can spend. Most people spend that cash on things that don't really add value to their lives in a meaningful way. What you're trying to do is help them spend their money on something valuable that will move you forward toward one of your goals. You should be investing that money into products, programs, and services. That's the power of disposable income. It comes back. Every 2 weeks, boom, there's more money. Money replenishes. The goal for this close is to help people realize that while each month money comes back, time does not, and if they're not careful, they will run out of time. Do you think it's okay to dip into your savings or leverage your credit and spend money you might not have to get started today? This is a serious question. Do you think it's okay or not? Some people say yes and some say no. Let's talk about this for a minute. Every month, money replenishes, right? But this is the key: time does not replenish. It disappears. So you could go out and spend months or years of your valuable time to figure something out, but you will never get that time back. Instead, you could save that time and effort, because I've already spent it for you, and work directly with me instead. It will cost you money to get started, but that money will come back, whereas the time away from your family in trial and error is wasted effort and is gone forever. Break old habits. The goal for this close is to help them realize that if they leave today without investing, nothing in their life will change. Habits are really hard to change. I could leave the webinar right now and go enjoy the rest of the afternoon. I'm already successful with underscore. This is already working for me. But this is not about me. This is about you. If you leave now, you might think you learned a lot of cool stuff, but my guess is that by morning tomorrow you'll have already slipped back into your normal routines. Right? You just do what you've always done. That's what most people do. But because I'm your coach, your friend, your mentor, I'm not going to let you go back to your old habits. I'm going to make sure you're successful by breaking them. If you want real, lasting change, you need repeated exposure to the full system. That's what you'll get when you invest today. Information alone. My goal for this close is to help them understand that, while they have gotten some awesome information, they can't rely on information alone. They need coaching and accountability, too. So now I've told you how the whole system works. I've shown you how you can underscore. I've shown you that you only need to make this all work. But you know what? To be successful with this, you're going to need more than information alone. I know you can be successful with this system, but you're going to need coaching. You will have questions that need answering. And you might need help in the accountability department, too. Let me tell you, I take my job as a coach very seriously. I won't let you quit on yourself. We will get through everything together. I can't do that with just a few videos and some PDFs. Information alone won't cut it. My success rate when people go at this by themselves is almost 0%. But my success rate for those who work with me is closer to %. If information were enough, then you could have just turned to Google. You need a guide who has been there before, who can take you there right now. Money or excuses. The goal of this close is to get them to quit making excuses about why they can't buy. I've been in this business a long time. and I've found there are only two kinds of people. Those who are good at making money, losing weight, etc., and those who are good at making excuses. You can't be both. If you're the one making excuses, I hate to say it, but I think you're going to have a really hard time underscore. The good news is that you get to choose. In this moment, you can choose which type of person you're going to be. Don't be someone who makes excuses, be someone who actually underscore. Your two choices. The goal of this close is for them to understand why you are charging so much money, and to make sure they are okay with that. When we were deciding how to price this, we had two choices. The first was to go as cheap as possible and sell as many as we could. Now the problem with that is we would have no real incentive to pile on the value. It would cost us more for those bonuses than the whole course would be worth. Our second choice was to raise the price a little, and give you absolutely everything you need to succeed. They're two choices. The goal for this close is to help them realize they are crazy if they don't invest with you today. The way I see it, you've got two choices. Your first option is to do nothing and not take this leap of faith, which is 100% risk-free. Your second option is to pony up this tiny investment today, compared to all the value you'll get in return, and just give it a shot. See if it'll work for you. If it doesn't, for whatever reason, you get your money back. There's no risk. You have nothing to lose but the stress and headaches. Us versus them. The goal for this close is to call out people as either doers or dabblers. I'm guessing there are two kinds of people listening to me right now. You're either a doer or a dabbler. The dabblers love to sit and listen and learn, but they rarely ever do anything and often look for any excuse not to move forward. Some of you are doers. You're not sure how this is going to work for you, but you see how it's worked for me and for other people, so you have faith that it will work for you as well. And what I've found is that it's the doers who get ahead in life, while the dabblers don't ever really seem to progress. The handhold, this close is where you actually walk them through the sign-up process. When you are ready to change your life, this is what you need to start doing. First, open up a browser window. I don't care if it's Google Chrome, Firefox, Safari. I'm going to open Chrome right now and show you how this works. Type in www.______________________________________________________________________________________________________Then you're going to click here and fill out this form. After that, you'll be taken to this page, where you can create your account. If you have any issues, this link will connect you to my support desk, where _______________________________ can answer any of your questions. Say goodbye. In this close I want to show them all the pain that will instantly disappear after they invest. Once you've been through this training and have everything set up, you can say goodbye to the stress of ____________________________________________________________________________________________________________________again. Can you imagine what life will be like when those things have instantly disappeared from your life? What will you do with all the extra time, energy, money, etc.? Now and later, in this close, I want to paint a picture of their life now compared to what it could become if they invest. So I want to paint a picture of where I was before I started with the new opportunity. I struggled with ______________________________________________________________________________________________________________________ I wasn't able to _______________________________________________________________________________________________________________________ Does that sound familiar? But now I want you to get a vision of what life could be like. Ever since, new opportunity, I've been able to underscore. Now I'm able to underscore. And things are amazing. Can you imagine what that would be like? Only excuses. The goal of this close is to call out any excuses that might be keeping them back, and then diffuse them. If you didn't sign up immediately, you're probably thinking one of two things. First, you might be thinking Don't worry. We spend the whole first module showing you I'm also going to show you how we figured out I'm going to give you templates to help you figure it out. I promise you, by the end of week 1, you'll know exactly how to Second, you're probably a little nervous about setting it all up. I get that. But I promise you, it's not hard. On week 2, we're going to walk step by step through the whole setup process. I know can be scary, but we'll be there for you. The third reason might be that you think it's too expensive. If that's your reason, I don't know how I can help you. This is an investment and a decision you need to make for yourself. When I invested in learning this process, I paid but I got back within Reluctant hero, the goal of this close is to help them believe they can actually do it. I want you to know something about me. I'm no one special. I don't have any supernatural gifts or anything. I actually really struggle with And that's what I love about this system. I don't have to worry about that anymore. If you only got, the goal of this close is to show them what they already got for free, and what they can possibly achieve when they invest with you. Okay, so I could stop right here. If I stopped right here and you only got it would still be worth the investment, right? But you're also getting and But you're also going to get and I want to make sure that nothing is standing in the way of your success. Close, this close is the final push to get them over the edge. I typically do this one several times during the question and answer section at the end of the webinar. If you're still on the fence, now is the time to open a new browser window, go to www.underscore______________________________________________________________________________________________ and get started. Remember, there is no risk, and we have a 100% money-back guarantee. But the only way for you to know if this is right for you is to get started right now. You can get your account at ____________________________________________________________________________________________________________________ I like to use a close right before I introduce a new element in the stack. Sometimes I'll even use 2 or 3 closes in between elements. They just flow naturally one into the other. At this point, you know how to deliver a perfect presentation. Now it's time to look at the different funnels you'll use and how you'll work this system week after week. Section 4. The funnels. As we move into Section 4, let's look at how far you've come. You've started your own mass movement by identifying your attractive character, creating your future-based cause, and creating your new opportunity. You've learned how to create belief by telling stories the right way. You've built out a sales presentation that tells your stories in a way that will create intense desire for people to buy into your new opportunity. And you've learned to create a stack that will cause them to take action. The next step is getting the right people to come into a selling environment where you can deliver your message and encourage people to follow you into your new opportunity. You do that by creating sales funnels using a software tool called ClickFunnels and then filling those funnels with qualified prospects. That's what this next section is all about. It's the fuel for your fire. When you master this piece, you'll have a constant stream of people to share your message with. Secret number 17. The perfect webinar model. For those who have been in this information business for a while, this next section will be counterintuitive. You will fight me on it, because in the past you've made money by creating an offer, selling it to your audience, then creating another product the next month to sell to those same people. When I tell you that you need to do the exact same webinar every week for the next 12 months, minimum, you're going to think I'm crazy. Yet this model took my company from $0 to $10 million within 12 months, and then to $30 million just 12 months later. For the first 10 years of my business, I focused on building a culture of people who loved what I did. Then I stopped bringing in new people. I had my following and I would sell them something new each month. A percentage of the people would buy and the rest would say no. The only way I could make more money the following month was to create a new product and sell it to the same list of people. So we'd create a new product, launch it, get paid, then start all over again for the next month. This is how most experts run their businesses these days. For me, this was a horrible cycle, which forced me to create new things every month. I had no leverage, and my company always maxed out at about $1 to $3 million a year. Then one day I had a chance to talk to one of my friends, Mary Ellen Tribby. Mary Ellen has a unique ability to take companies that are doing well and quickly scale them to much higher profitability. One of her successes was with a company called Weiss Research. She took them from $11 million in sales to $67 million in just 12 months. She had similar results with several other companies. I asked her to share her secret. How could she possibly grow a company that fast? She said, "Internet marketers like you are so smart and so dumb at the same time." I was a little shocked, but she had my interest. "What do you mean?" She went on to say that what we do each month is the equivalent of creating a Broadway show. You hire the best screenwriters in the world. You hire the best actors. You practice for months, then you open the show in downtown Boise, Idaho. Because that's where you happen to live and you spend a month promoting it. You open the show to a sold-out crowd and they give you a standing ovation. That night after the show is done, you pull everything down and start writing your next play to open next month in the same auditorium in Boise. I kinda laughed nervously, then asked, "Okay, then what should I be doing? What would you do differently?" "I take companies like yours that have an awesome show in Boise, I take them on the road. I take that show to Chicago, to New York, to LA, and I keep running it until it stops making money." I realized then and there what I was doing wrong. I needed to learn how to take my show on the road. In other words, learn how to drive more traffic to the same webinar every week. After I understood that principle, I sketched out a model, and told my team I was going to stick to this model for the next 12 months. This is what it looked like. This model is based on a live event schedule. My favorite day to do webinars is Thursday, because then I have adequate time to promote it during the week. I start my promotions on Monday and keep pushing hard until Thursday before the webinar. I send emails. I drive Facebook ads. I work with joint venture partners, and a whole bunch of other activities that drive traffic to my sign-up page. Whatever I can do to get people onto this live event, I do. When the webinar starts, I stop all promotion because the rest of the week is about converting those prospects into buyers. Every market is different, but I like to spend only $3 to $5 per webinar registrant. If the costs are getting above that, then my landing page isn't right, my message isn't interesting, I'm targeting the wrong people, or something else is off. As your costs climb higher into the $7 to $8 range, it becomes challenging to stay profitable on the front end. Here are my personal goals for this funnel each week. Your goals may be different, but this will give you an idea what to shoot for. $3 per registrant, 1,000 registrants per week, $3,000 ad spend, 25% show up rate, 250 people, 10% close rate at $997, 25 sales / $25,000, double sales on follow-up replays, additional $25,000. With that formula, I'm putting $3,000 a week into ads and making back $50,000 a week in sales, while adding 1,000 new people to my list. Those are the goals each week. Some weeks, we don't get the full 1,000 registered, other times we'll get 2,500 people or more. But setting that as the goal and doing a webinar every week, yes, the same webinar over and over again, is the recipe for new consistent leads and cash flow into your company. So each week I do a live webinar selling people on my new opportunity. I spend Monday through Thursday morning promoting that webinar to get as many people as possible to show up on Thursday night. I present the webinar live on Thursday night and make my special offer. Then I show replays on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. At midnight Sunday, I take down the offer for those who had registered. Then I start again on Monday filling my event for the upcoming Thursday. That's it. That's the whole model. The next question I get from people when I explain this to them live is, but Russell, inside of ClickFunnels, I can create an automated webinar. Can't I just automate this so I don't have to do it live every week? And my answer is yes, eventually, but right now, you have to do it live. I recommend presenting the webinar live a few dozen times, at least, before you ever automate it, and here's why. My funnel hacks presentation has made me over $10 million within the first year. The first time I delivered it, I did it at a live seminar and was able to close 33% of the people in the room. Not too shabby, right? The next day, as I was leaving the event, one of the attendees who heard the presentation told me she loved it, but since she was a coach and didn't have a supplement to sell, she couldn't use ClickFunnels. I gave her a puzzled look. She pointed out that all the examples I had showed were people selling supplements, but she didn't have one. I told her that I use ClickFunnels for my coaching business, and showed her a few of my funnels. She got so excited, she ran back into the event and grabbed two of her friends. They all filled out order forms and handed them to me before I left the hotel. I closed 3 people who hadn't signed up before. This interaction showed that my presentation wasn't perfect. So on my flight home, I tweaked it by adding a few more slides showing different funnels and giving examples of how other industries can use ClickFunnels. The next week, I did the presentation live to about 600 entrepreneurs on a webinar. When it was over, we had sold about $30,000, which wasn't too bad. But I knew it should have been more. I had to deliver the webinar again in a few hours to another group of entrepreneurs, so I tweaked it again. I exported all the questions people had asked, reviewed them, then changed my slides based on the questions they had during my presentation. I saw all the spots where I had explained things wrong or didn't give enough detail or flat out missed things people actually wanted. 4 hours later, I delivered this revised presentation to about 500 entrepreneurs, and this time we sold $120,000 live. I repeated this same process 60 plus times over the next 12 months, doing a live webinar, exporting questions, and adjusting the presentation. It's probably why one of my friends and conversion experts, Joe Lavery, said this after watching my presentation. So yes, eventually I will suggest that you automate the webinar, but not at first. You need to get people's feedback, make changes, and perfect your webinar. It's more work, but the result could be worth tens of millions of dollars to you over time. Now I'm sure some of you saw that I'm spending over $3,000 per week on Facebook alone to get people into my webinar, and got a little nervous. Don't worry about that now. In secret number 22, I will be showing you ways to fill your funnel with the right people who are ready to buy. There are methods, like the Facebook strategy, that cost money, but there are other ways that you can get people to attend your webinars for free. When you are spending money, start with a lower ad budget at first. Run your webinar a few times to get the kinks out and know what conversion rates to expect. Then you can spend more money on ads because you'll know what kind of return to expect. In the beginning, all kinds of things could happen. Facebook could mess up your ads. Your webinar software could fail to record or function right. You could lose power in the middle of your broadcast. Things happen. Sometimes no one even shows up at all. It's important not to get discouraged. Stick to the plan, and work it week in and week out. The beginning can be rough for some people. Don't quit. It won't be long before you start hitting consistent numbers. Now that you know the model, let's take a look at the funnel you'll be using to move people from registration through the purchase. Step 1. Send traffic to the webinar registration page. Coming up in secret number 22, fill your funnel. I'll show you how to get people into your funnel, but for now let's look at the actual funnel itself, starting with the registration page. I wanted to share a few things you should do on your registration page to get the most people to register. The key to a high converting webinar registration page is curiosity. That's it. If your registration page isn't converting well, it's because you're showing people too much and they assume they know the answer. If they think they know what you're going to talk about, then they won't register or show up. If they can't figure out what it is without registering, then you'll get them to register and show up. The headline I showed you earlier, how to underscore without underscore is typically the key to getting people to register. Here is an example of the type of headline I used on my Funnel Scripts webinar. Sometimes I tweak my headline to increase the curiosity factor. This is the main registration page we used the first year for the Funnel Hacks webinar. I want you to notice a few things about this page. 1. The picture makes no sense. When you look at it, you have no idea what it is or why I'm doing it. It arouses curiosity. Find a picture of you that's kinda related to the topic but kinda strange to help increase your conversions dramatically. I do not recommend putting video on a webinar registration page. Rarely, if ever, will it beat a strange image. But if you do a video, be sure to test the page without a video as well. 2. The headline builds a ton of curiosity. My weird niche funnel that's currently making me $17,947 per day, and how you can ethically knock it off in less than 10 minutes. This headline gives you a hint about the presentation, but it leaves so many unanswered questions. What niche is it? Is it really possible to make $17,947 per day? Can you really ethically knock it off? How? In just 10 minutes? 3. The page uses urgency and scarcity. Nothing gets people to act, register, show up, and buy, better than urgency and scarcity. These are your secret weapons, use them. Step 2. Send registrants to a thank you page with a self-liquidating offer. After people register, we take them to a thank you page where we give them the basic information for the webinar. On this page, I do like to include a video, with me talking about why I'm so excited for the webinar. They need to feel my passion for the subject or they won't show up. Remember, the registration page is about curiosity. The thank you page is about your passion and excitement for what they are about to experience on the webinar. One of the biggest secrets about the thank you page is that you can, and should, use it to sell people something. We call this a self-liquidating offer or SLO. There are a few reasons you want to include this offer here. One, self-liquidating offer means it liquidates your ad costs. That's right, often you can completely cover your ad costs from the product you offer on your thank you page. That means everything you sell on the webinar is pure profit. 2, if they buy something that complements what the webinar is about, they are more likely to show up live. 3, buyers in motion tend to stay in motion, unless you do something to offend them. That means if they buy from you before the webinar, they are a lot more likely to buy from you on the webinar. I like my SLO offers to be lower ticket, usually $37 to $47, or a free, or $1, trial to a membership site. When we launched the Funnel Hacks webinar, we decided to give away a free trial to ClickFunnels on the thank you page. Honestly, it was more of an afterthought, but we did it anyway. Looking at the stats from the first year of following this model, more than 15,000 people have created ClickFunnels trials from that link, and over 4,500 are still active. If you do the math, we have over $450,000 a month in recurring cash coming in just from our thank you page. Step 3, send a series of indoctrination emails. Between the time someone registers for the webinar to the time you deliver it live, there are about 10 million distractions that could keep them from showing up. If you're not careful, the people you paid for with advertising won't remember who you are by Thursday. So during the in-between time, I send registrants videos to help introduce them to my philosophy, get them excited about the webinar, and pre-sell them. For me, each of the videos is pre-selling them on one of my 3 secrets. Remember, each of the 3 secrets is tied to a false belief pattern. So I make a video talking about that belief pattern, and then tell them that the webinar will help them discover why that isn't true, and why the opposite is actually true. Don't answer the questions, just increase the curiosity for what they're going to learn on the webinar. The main concern people share with the sequence is, but what if they register on Wednesday and they only get 1 or 2 of the indoctrination emails before the webinar? Here's the thing, the indoctrination sequence is not essential to the sale. It's an amplifier. If they only see 1 video and then they attend the webinar, that's okay. Videos 2 and May 3rd come after the webinar, and that's fine. Don't stress about it. Oftentimes one of the indoctrination emails is the thing that gets them to watch a replay or to purchase after the webinar is over. Step 4, send reminders. The reminders start on Wednesday. Just send quick emails and / or text messages that say something like, "Hey, don't forget we're talking about _______________________________________________________________________________________________________________________:______________________________________________________________________________:_:___________________________________________________live tomorrow at _____________________________________ People don't always read every email, so I like to send one the day before we go live, one the morning of the webinar, one an hour or so before we start, another about 15 minutes before, then a final one that says, "We're live, join us." Step 5, present the webinar live. I like to present my webinars on Thursdays. Others might prefer Tuesdays or Wednesdays, but that matters less than following the pre-webinar indoctrination series, the perfect webinar script, and the follow-up sequences. For the actual webinar, here are a few things to keep in mind. 1. The webinar should be about 90 minutes long. The first 60 minutes, you focus on breaking and rebuilding their false belief patterns. This is typically the hardest part for people to get right. They try to teach, they try to share cool stuff, and they don't understand why they don't get lots of sales. The core teaching is identifying their false belief patterns. If you do this right, the product will sell easily. If you do it wrong, you'll struggle. Review the perfect webinar section a dozen times until you master the section on belief patterns. 2. The last 30 minutes is the pitch. You deliver that with the stack, and add in the closes. When the 90 minutes is over, I usually spend the remaining 15 to 30 minutes for Q&A, closing people between each question. 3. The best time of day for your webinar depends a lot on your market. I schedule my webinars during the day because most people in my market are entrepreneurs who usually have more freedom over their schedules during the day. Other markets where people have 9 to 5 jobs usually require nighttime webinars. So when you present the webinar will depend on your particular audience. 4. I like presenting my live webinars on gotowebinar.com. Some of my friends use Webinar Jam or other software. Each system has pros and cons, so you have to figure out what's best for you. 5. Typically, about 25% of the registrants show up on the webinar. If fewer than 25% attend, focus more on the indoctrination sequence, sending text message reminders before the webinar, emails 1 hour before the webinar, and again 15 minutes before. You've paid a lot of money to get them registered, and you're going to have to push hard to get them to show up. 6. When I transition from the content to the pitch, I check how many people are still on the webinar, and I base my closing stats on that number. So if I have 250 people who are still on the webinar when I start the pitch at the 60-minute mark, and I know that I typically close 15%, I'll probably make about $37,500. What will your close rate be? At first, it will probably be pretty low. That's why you need to do it live so many times. When you have a 5% close rate, you have a good webinar and are likely going to be profitable on the front end. When you get it to 10%, then, I believe, you have $1 million a year webinar. When you get above 10%, well, I'll just say that at 15%, we did just shy of $10 million the first year. So it pays to keep refining your conversion rates by tweaking and presenting live presentations. Step 6. Send follow UPS and create last-minute urgency. As soon as a webinar is over, we shift focus to the replay campaign. Some people get really intense with their replay campaigns, but the basics are urgency and scarcity. That's what gets people to take action. I usually double my sales between the time I end the webinar and when we close down the offer Sunday at midnight. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday you will deliver follow-up emails including the webinar replay link. The first day, I talk about what a great response we had on the live call and offer them a chance to watch the replay, if they access it quickly. When the cart closes, the replay link disappears as well. Sometimes in my follow-up sequence I'll send a PDF cheat sheet, similar to Cliff's Notes, that briefly summarizes what we covered in the webinar, or even a PDF version of my slides so they can see what we covered in the webinar. Some people are more visual learners who prefer to read text over watching a video. People are busy and they may not have time to go watch your 90-minute presentation, but they will scan over your PDF. In this email, I also remind them that the offer is only live until Sunday. These few days are all about amping up the urgency and scarcity. If people think they have all the time in the world to buy, they won't. On the last day, I send a couple of emails reminding them that the cart closes at midnight. I recap the main reasons they should buy and leave it at that. It's amazing how many people will hit the buy button 1 minute before midnight. Step 7, close the cart. Sunday at midnight, it's time to close the cart. The offer is done, and the buy buttons are deactivated. That's it. You've completed your perfect webinar funnel. Repeat. Monday morning, you start all over again with step 1, driving traffic. Each time you go through this process, you will improve. You'll figure out different ways of presenting that get more people to buy. You'll answer more questions. You'll fine-tune your ad targeting. The point is to never stop after one try, especially if you had disappointing results. No one showed up for Liz Benny's first live webinar. She had a few hundred people registered, yet for some reason no one showed up. She had spent months preparing, and not a single soul attended. But she didn't give up. She kept refining her process. And she wound up making just over $1 million in her first year. Would that be okay with you? If you knew you could make 6 or 7 figures in a year, would you keep going in the face of disappointment? Yeah, me, too. What happens if you get great results from your first live webinar? Should you automate it and move on to something else? No. This is a huge mistake people make, automating too soon. I ran the funnel hacking webinar 60 plus times before we finally decided to automate it. 1 full year of the same webinar, week in and week out. Some weeks I did it 5 or 6 times. In fact, to this day I still do it live a few times a month. By the time we finally automated it, that presentation was as tight as it could be. We had every objection covered. We knew exactly how to get traffic. We had just the right follow-up sequences. And now it's all down to the numbers. Because we spent so much time perfecting the webinar, we get predictable results from the automated version. So the last step is to repeat your webinar again and again. Run it every week for a full year, and watch what happens to your bank account and your expert status. Secret number 18. The 4-question close, for high-ticket offers. The webinar process and the perfect webinar script you've just learned works really well for offers between $297 and $2,997. But when you're selling more expensive offers, you need to add another step. Instead of just sending people to an order form, send them to a page where they fill out an application. Then get on the phone and interview them to see if they'd be a good fit for the program. This works for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, it's much easier to sell a $2,997 to $100,000 program on the phone. That extra step helps people feel more comfortable paying the higher dollar amounts. Reason number 2, at the higher level programs, you are typically going to be working more closely with people. You can screen them to make sure you'll enjoy working with them. If they aren't a good fit, then don't accept them into your programs. In .com Secrets, I shared a 2-step phone script that works really well when you have salespeople working for you. For that script to work, you need 2 people, a setter and a closer. It works amazingly well, but only when the expert isn't the one on the phone. At least in the beginning, you will be doing these sales calls yourself, and for that I recommend a completely different script. The 4-question close script. I learned various parts of this strategy from a few different people. Dan Sullivan wrote a book called The Question, which this whole script is based on. Perry Belcher coached a few of my friends through the script, and Greg Kasser coached me and my inner circle through the process. Even though this is called the 4-question close script, it's more like a 4-phase script. There are 4 primary questions, but you will be asking follow-up questions to dig deeper and get more complete answers. Before prospects get on the phone with you, they fill out an application form so you can pre-qualify them. Then you should have an assistant contact them to set up a 30-minute call. Once you're on the call, most people will want to open with small talk. That invites them to ramble on and waste time. You don't want that. You want to set yourself up as the one running the call right from the start. So you're going to say, "Hey, this is Russell and I'm excited to be on the call with you. So here's how these calls work. I'm going to ask you 4 questions. Depending on how you answer them and how well we get along, we'll decide whether to move forward. Sound fair enough?" They should answer yes, or the call can end right there. You're getting a micro commitment here, a little yes right at the start. You're also setting the ground rules so you can steer the conversation where you want it to go. Once they agree, it's time to start asking the questions. Imagine you and I were to start working together today. I teach you everything I know and do everything I can to help you get results. Now imagine we're sitting in a coffee shop a year from now. What would have happened in your life, both personally and professionally, for you to feel happy with your progress? What would make you believe that this was the best decision you ever made? You're trying to get them to describe their external and internal goals here. You want to hear their true desires. If they can't answer this question, you don't want to work with them because you'll never be able to satisfy them. No matter how much you accomplish and no matter how much they pay you, if they can't articulate their desires, then you won't be able to make them a reality. Most likely, they'll start by describing external desires. They want to make $10,000 a month. Or they want a boat or a fancy new house in a better school district. They want to lose weight or have a better relationship with their spouse. This is a great start, but you want to dig deeper and get to the internal desires as well. So ask follow-up questions based on their answers. Question number 1: Why do you want to make $10,000 a month? Why do you want that fancy new house? What's so important about the school district you're in? Then they'll start revealing the values and beliefs that are truly important to them. Maybe they want $10,000 a month to prove to their family that they're a good provider. Or maybe they have a favorite charity they want to support in a big way. Maybe they want to be in a good school district because their kids aren't being challenged where they are. Or maybe they are childless and their spouse has given up hope of ever having a family. They are hoping that moving to a good school district will demonstrate that there's still hope. Do you see how very different those inner desires can be for different people, even though they want the same things? You need to know those inner reasons why they want what they want. So keep digging until they reveal those deep emotional connections. At the end of the day, we all want the same things: respect, inclusion, and purpose. When you dig and eventually they say something that reveals one of these three things, you can stop and move to the next question. They might say, "I just want my father to respect me." Or, "I want my life to have a purpose, so I live on when I die." Or, "I want to be part of something bigger than myself." Train yourself to listen carefully for these cues. Then move on to the next question. Question number 2: Clearly, you know what you want. You've painted a really great picture for me. So let me ask you this: why don't you have it yet? What's been standing in your way or holding you back? Here you're looking for their obstacles and objections. If they don't have what they want yet, there must be a reason. And you need to know whether you can help them with those obstacles or not. If they start blaming other people, you can't help them. Listen for them to say things like, "My spouse doesn't support me," or "I tried XYZ program and it didn't work. That guy was useless." If they're blaming other people or outside circumstances for their failures, you really don't want them as a client. You want people who will take responsibility for their own actions. So listen for some version of "I don't know how." Maybe they say, "I tried XYZ program, but I just didn't understand the finer details. I need to take the time to master the process." The key here is the word "I." If they talk about themselves a lot, then chances are you can help them. If they don't know how to do something and you can help them, you're going to have a successful relationship. Next, it's time to get them thinking about possibilities. Question number 3: I want you to think about what resources, connections, talents, or skills you have access to that you're not currently utilizing 100%, that we could use to help overcome your obstacles and achieve your goals. Give them some time to think about it. They might come up with some great answers, or they might come up with something off the wall. The point is to get them thinking about the possibilities. Whatever they come up with is good. Encourage them to keep thinking. Keep asking, "What else? What else?" until they run out of ideas. When they do, you say this: "Okay, so let's review for a minute. 1. It looks like you know exactly what you want. You told me you want underscore 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 because underscore 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 underscore. 2. Now you haven't been able to achieve that before, primarily because of underscore 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 and underscore 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 underscore, right? Now I briefly talk about my experience with the same obstacles they are struggling with, and ask them if they think I could help them to overcome those obstacles. 3. And last, it looks like you have all these resources you could leverage that you're not leveraging yet, right? I then asked them, how much more money do you think you'd make, or how much weight would you lose, or how much better would your marriage be, if you were able to eliminate the obstacles and leverage those resources? I let them explain to me what will happen. Oh man, if I could do that, I'm pretty sure I could make $1 million, or lose a ton of weight, be so much happier in my marriage. I then transitioned to the final question. Question number 44. So I only have one more question. Do you want me to help you? Then I stop talking. I don't say another word until they answer. Most of the time, they will say yes. Then all I have to do is say, great. Here's how it works. My fee is $________________________ For that money, you get ______________________________________________. I'm here to help you. I can transfer you over to my assistant to take care of the financial details right now. Would you like to do that? If they say yes, you're done. Usually the only reason they won't agree at this point is because they don't have the money. If that's the case, you can offer a payment plan. If you've done a good job with the questions, and they can afford your fee, then you should close most of the people you talk to. Just send them off to your assistant to handle the credit card details, and you're all set. And that's how the 4-question close works. Secret number 19. The perfect webinar hack. As you can see, it takes time to create a perfect webinar presentation. Most people spend a week or two creating their first one. And even though I've been using the format for years, I'll often spend a couple of days creating one presentation. While that's really not a long time to create the foundation of millions of dollars in a business, sometimes you don't have that much time. For example, about 2 years ago, I was helping a close friend launch a new company that sold automated webinar software. His sales process looked very traditional, and they were getting average sales driving traffic into his funnel. Then he decided to launch an affiliate contest where the winner got $50,000. I thought it would be fun to compete, but I knew the only way I could win was to change how he was selling his product. I had planned on creating a perfect webinar, but as the deadline to win the $50,000 got closer, I ran out of time. I was competing against 100 other affiliates who had been promoting for several weeks, and I was way behind. There were only a few days left before the contest ended. I was about to give up and just blow it off, but then I had an idea. What if I could quickly create a perfect webinar and launch it in the next 10 to 15 minutes? Ha! I had to laugh at myself for a minute. Then I got serious. I knew I could never pull it off with traditional PowerPoint or Keynote slides. But what if I just wrote out the key components on a whiteboard? I had no idea if it would work, but it was my only shot. So I started asking myself a lot of the questions I've covered throughout this book. I'm going to run through them quickly for you right now because that's all I was able to do in the 15 minutes before I went live with this presentation. Note, all these elements could have been much stronger if I'd had more time, but I only had 15 minutes before I went live, so I had to think really fast. I want you to see what you can pull together when you use the concepts in this book as guidelines. Question number 1, what's the new opportunity I'm offering? Answer, increasing webinar sales using my weekly webinar model. For this product, we were selling automated webinar software, which was nothing new. So I offered them a new opportunity to sell more through webinars using my weekly webinar model. This was a new opportunity that most people, at the time, had never heard of. Question number 2, what is the one big domino for this offer? Answer, if I can get them to believe that doing webinars through my model is the only way they can get to 7 figures in the next 12 months, then they have to give me money. So I wrote out this title, How to Make, at least, 7 figures next year with this webinar model. Question number 3, what special offer can I create for those who purchase? Answer, I spent 5 minutes writing out my stack on a whiteboard, including everything I would give people who purchased through my affiliate link. His software helped people conduct webinars, so I brainstormed things I already had that would complement what he was selling. Here is what my stack looked like. What you're gonna get: the perfect webinar script $497, the perfect webinar training $9,997, video of my closing live $2,997, perfect webinar funnel $997, my webinar funnel, priceless total value, $14,988. Question number 4, what is my Epiphany Bridge origin story? Answer: the story about how I bombed at my first event and Armand Morin taught me how to do the stack. Question number 5, what are 3 false beliefs they have about this new opportunity, the 3 secrets, and what Epiphany Bridge stories will I tell to break those false belief patterns? I broke them down like this. A. What is their number 1 false belief about webinars, the vehicle we were putting them into? B. What Epiphany Bridge story do I have that got me to believe in webinars? I knew my epiphany had occurred when I learned the script for how to sell on webinars, which eventually became the perfect webinar. So I then wrote on the whiteboard, secret number 1, it's all about the script. Then I went into secret number 2. C. What is their number 1 false belief about their personal ability to execute on this vehicle? D. What Epiphany Bridge story do I have that got me to believe in my abilities? For me, my big epiphany was understanding how the webinar model worked, and that I could actually do it. So I then wrote on the whiteboard, secret number 2, understanding the model. Finally, I thought about the third secret. E. What is their number 1 false belief or outside force that they think will keep them from success? F. What Epiphany Bridge story do I have that got me to understand the truth? For me, my epiphany was understanding that this only works if you do it live every week until it converts to actual results. I then wrote down, secret number 3, you have to do this live until. Now those probably weren't the best titles in the world, and I'm sure with a few days of massaging them, I could have made them amazing. But this whole process only took me about 15 minutes. Then I had to figure out how to promote this message to the most people in the least amount of time. I didn't have time to set up a webinar funnel and get people into a sequence. I needed to start getting sales immediately. So I opened up 2 of my phones, turned on Facebook Live and Periscope, and clicked go live on both platforms. Because I already have strong followings in both places, I was live in front of hundreds of people within seconds. I did the presentation by just talking off the top of my head, sharing my Epiphany Bridge stories, and then going into my stack and close. Within 26 minutes and 32 seconds, my presentation was done. I had no idea if it was good or bad, it was all so quick. But as I looked at my stats, I saw the sales flooding in. I was then able to promote those presentations on Facebook and other places for the next 3 days until the contest was over. During this time, over 100,000 people saw this presentation. We ended up doing over $250,000 in sales and I won the $50,000 cash prize. Not bad for only 15 minutes of preparation. And while I thought that was pretty cool, even more exciting was the fact that Brandon and Kaylin Poulin saw what I did and decided to model it. Within a few days, they launched a Facebook Live session, and did almost the same thing. They had their stack written down on a whiteboard, and Kaylin wrote her 3 secrets on paper, which she showed as she was teaching and telling her stories. Their first try at this process made them over $100,000, and they've gone on to do it each month since. In fact, recently they did over $650,000 from one Facebook Live presentation, using the perfect webinar script without any PowerPoint slides, just a whiteboard and a few sheets of paper. As you master the perfect webinar script and you get better at telling stories and delivering your offer, you can use it to sell almost any product with just a few minutes notice. The perfect webinar is perfect. The only time it doesn't work is when people mess it up by not following what I've laid out in this book. In fact, if you try it and it doesn't work, I can tell you from experience it's probably for one of these reasons: 1, you picked a bad market and no one wants to hear what you have to say. 2. You built an improvement offer and no one wants to buy it. 3. You slipped into teaching mode and didn't create an environment for change. If you pick a good market, make a new opportunity that is truly irresistible, and then use your presentation to break and rebuild their belief patterns around that new opportunity, it works. I promise. As you follow what I do online, you'll see me using the script and story process in all sorts of situations, including video sales letters, teleseminars, product launch videos, Google Hangouts, Facebook Live videos, and even in my email sequences. On the following page is a cheat sheet you can use to structure your perfect webinars fast. Perfect webinar cheat sheet. Question number 1, what's the new opportunity I'm offering? Question number 2, what is the one big domino for this offer? Question number 3, what special offer can I create for those who purchase? Question number 4, what is my Epiphany Bridge origin story? Question number 5, what are 3 false beliefs they have about this new opportunity, the 3 secrets, and what Epiphany Bridge stories will I tell to break those false belief patterns? A. False belief, vehicle, B. Epiphany Bridge story, vehicle, C. False belief, internal, D. Epiphany Bridge story, internal, E. False belief, external, F. Epiphany Bridge story, external. Secret number 20. Email Epiphany funnels. One of my biggest breakthroughs happened when I realized that I could use this perfect webinar process in all areas of my marketing, including email. In .com Secrets, I talked about a concept I learned from Andre Chaperone called soap opera sequences, SOS, which are the emails you send to someone when they first join your list. He called them soap opera sequences because each email ends with a hook that draws you to the next episode, just like a soap opera does. For years, I had been using SOS emails with different story structures. I even shared some in the .com Secrets book. But when I started seeing people use the perfect webinar in different situations like Facebook Live and video sales letters, I had a thought, I wonder if this would also work as an email sequence. In fact, I wonder if I could do all the selling by email, and not even push them into attending a presentation. It seemed so crazy, I figured it just might work. So I took the perfect webinar and broke down the 4 core stories and the stack, added each into an email, and tested it out. The results were, well, they were amazing. So much so that we are now going back and adding them into every funnel we have. There are a few different ways that we've successfully used this so far. The first was just writing out each story for the emails. The second way was making videos telling each of the stories, and then linking to the video inside of the emails. Honestly, the way they receive the story matters less than following the actual story structure that you learned about earlier in this book. One of the keys to remember in soap opera sequence like this is that each email needs to pull people into the next story in the next email. Think about how good soap operas, reality shows and most shows on TV are able to pull you through the commercial breaks and week to week by getting you excited by what is about to happen, then cutting it off. We do the same thing in these emails, teasing about the next email that's coming so they are anxiously waiting for it. Secret number 21. Epiphany product launch funnels. When ClickFunnels was getting close to its 1-year anniversary, we wanted to create a new funnel in hopes that we could get some of the same affiliate partners who had promoted our perfect webinar in the past to promote again. We knew that many of them would not want to just promote the same webinar to their followers again, so we decided to switch from a webinar to a product launch funnel. Inside the .com Secrets book, I also shared our product launch funnels, as well as the scripts we've had success with in the past inside of the product launch funnels. But I knew that the messaging and stories in our webinars worked really well, so why not just use them again here? And with that, we basically just recreated the perfect webinar and Epiphany Bridge stories inside of the product launch funnel structure. I recorded an intro video telling my origin story, then had them opt in for the rest of the videos in the sequence. Then video number 1 became secret number 1, which told them about the new opportunity. Secret number 2 focused on their internal beliefs, and secret number 3 their external beliefs. Then video number 4 was just a video of me doing the stack. It worked amazingly well, and since then I've seen dozens of others create product launch funnel versions of their perfect webinars. One of the most powerful ways we've used and that I've started to see others adopt as well is after someone comes through your webinar funnel, to send emails to those who didn't show up to the webinar, and have them go through the product launch sequence instead. That way, those who didn't get a chance to consume your message can get it in a different format they may be more likely to watch. Section 5. What's next? Now that you have created your presentation and the funnels that people will go through to get your message, the next questions I get a lot are, how do I get people into those funnels? What is the fuel that will ignite my following so I can start a mass movement? This section will show you how to fill your funnels and mention some other things you can do to jumpstart your success as an expert. Secret number 22. Fill your funnel. The million-dollar question everyone asks after they learn about funnels is, how do you actually get people into those funnels? I had the same question when I got started. In fact, I remember asking a friend who was having a lot of success online at the time, how do you create traffic? He smiled and said, Russell, you don't need to create traffic, it's already there. People are already online. You just have to figure out how to get those people to leave where they are and come to you instead. The wheels in my head started spinning. I started thinking about where my dream customers were already congregating. I realized that, in most cases, the people I wanted to serve were already in the market looking for something. And if I could present them with my new opportunity, I could get them to leave where they were and start following me. About that same time, I heard about a concept called the Dream 100 from one of my friends and mentors, Chet Holmes. Early in Chet's career, he worked for Charlie Munger, who you may know was Warren Buffett's partner in Berkshire Hathaway. Chet sold advertising for one of the company's legal magazines. At the time, they were really struggling. Chet was working with a database of over 2,000 advertisers. He made calls and sent out materials every day. But they were still number 16 out of 16 magazines in their industry. Dead last. Then Chet got smart. He did some research and discovered that out of those 2,000 advertisers, 167 of them were spending 90% of their advertising budgets with his competitors. So he defined those 167 as his best buyers, the ones spending all the money in the industry. Once he figured that out, he stopped marketing to everybody and instead focused his time and efforts on those 167. He sent out direct mail pieces with lumpy objects in them every 2 weeks, then he followed up with a few phone calls. Twice a month he'd mail, twice a month he'd call. Now Chet was known for what he called PhD pig-headed determination. So he just kept going after those same people month after month. Because these were the biggest buyers, they were the hardest people to reach. But he didn't give up. After 4 months of following this strategy, he got 0 response. Pretty discouraging, right? Then in his 4th month, something changed. He landed his first big account, Xerox. It was the biggest advertising buy ever for the company. By the 6th month, he had landed 29 of the 167. And with those 29, Chet doubled the sales over the previous year. They went from number 16 to number 1 in the industry in just over a year. And he kept doubling sales for the next 3 years. Later on in his career, Chet wrote a screenplay and wanted to sell it to a big Hollywood studio. So he followed the same Dream 100 strategy. He researched and found 100 Hollywood producers, actors, directors, and other people who could make his film a reality. He focused on his Dream 100 list and relentlessly pursued these guys. And yes, eventually he did sell his film to one of those big studios. So what does this have to do with you? Well, when I first heard Chet explain how the Dream 100 worked, I realized that there were probably 100 people who already had my dream customers. They had the traffic. I didn't need to create it, I just needed to figure out how to get those people to come and see my new opportunity instead. The first step in this Dream 100 process was going back to secret number 1. Remember when I created my new niche? We started with the 3 hot markets: health, wealth, and relationships. From there, I drilled down into a sub-niche inside of one of those markets. Then within that sub-niche, I created my new opportunity. I found that the key to the Dream 100 was to step back from my niche and go back up to the sub-market level. Inside of that sub-market are all the niches where my traffic is already congregating. All I needed to do was figure out who was controlling that traffic. I quickly realized that the people who controlled that traffic were typically one of 4 types: list owners, bloggers, podcasters, or social media influencers, including YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. I started searching and found list owners with email lists of 20,000 to 200,000 or more of my dream customers. Bloggers and podcasters who had millions of readers and listeners, and social media influencers who could drive tens of thousands of clicks to anything they wanted to talk about. I saw their power, so I started to build out my Dream 100 list of these people and companies. Initially, I tried to find 25 list owners in my submarket, 25 bloggers, 25 podcasters, and 25 social media influencers. After I filled out that list, I had the 100 people who already had the attention of those I wanted to serve. Then I put together a plan to infiltrate my Dream 100. The first goal was to start building relationships with my Dream 100. As Harvey Mackay said, you want to dig your well before you're thirsty. The worst time to contact your Dream 100 is the day you need them to promote something for you. The best time to start building relationships is now. So when you are ready to ask them to promote you, that relationship will already be there. Dig your well strategy number 1. I started by following them, sending friend requests, subscribing to their emails lists, blogs, and podcasts, and buying their products. I wanted to put them on my radar so I could see what they were doing and get to know who they were before I made my first contact. There is nothing worse than getting a meeting with an influencer and not knowing who they are, what they're working on, or what's important to them. I've met a lot of people through the years who somehow make it through my gatekeepers, but when they get on the phone, they're so focused on selling me something that we never get past the first few minutes. If you want to build a relationship with your Dream 100, you need to be prepared. Dig your well strategy number 2. After I know who they are and understand what's important to them, I want to give them a platform that helps to promote them, but at the same time gives me the ability to build a relationship with them. My favorite way to do that is to interview them for my podcast or my blog. I can usually get 30 to 60 minutes to ask them questions and build a relationship during that interview. When I promote that interview, it helps them as well. Most of my best partners started with me interviewing them and then taking that relationship from the interview into strategy number 3. Dig your well strategy number 3. Now that I have a basic relationship with them, one of the main things I like to ask, and I learned this from Sean Stevenson, is what project they're working on that is most important to them at the moment. After they tell me, I figure out what extra value I can offer to help them reach their goal. And that's it. It's simple, but it's how great business relationships are built. I'm digging my well before I'm thirsty. When should you start digging your well? Well, there is an old Chinese proverb that says, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. You need to start this strategy now, no matter where you are in your business today. After you've spent time digging your well, start looking for ways to leverage these relationships to gain access to their followers. If you have created a truly new opportunity that will serve their audience, then there are lots of ways you can work together. If you've picked a niche, then you'll likely be in direct competition with many of your Dream 100. But if you've created your niche, your new opportunity, then you should be complementary to most of them. This makes the promotion process a lot easier. Promotion strategy number 1. The easiest and best way to work with your Dream 100 is to get them to promote you and your new opportunity to their following. That's my number 1 goal. I focus hard on the relationship. And when the time is right, I ask them to promote my webinar. I reach out to my Dream 100 by sending them a physical newsletter and package in the mail every month with information about the special promotions we are running and how they can be part of them. Even though my Dream 100 has grown to nearly 600 people, I still send a package and give them a call every month. Not everyone on my Dream 100 will promote my products. In fact, many of them I can never even get on the phone. But I consistently market to them, because one yes can put me in front of their audience of hundreds of thousands of people or more. I've had times when one person on my Dream 100 has said yes, and within 3 months that relationship netted over $1 million. It's worth consistently building relationships with those people. I would say that about 30% of the traffic into my funnels comes from this strategy. Promotion strategy number 2. While my main goal is to get my Dream 100 to promote my product, oftentimes they can't or won't, and that's okay. Over the past few years, most of the social networks have opened up their advertising platforms so I can promote to the fans and followers of specific people or companies. For example, I can go to Facebook and show ads to all the Tony Robbins fans, one of my Dream 100. You could go to Twitter and target Ashton Kutcher's followers, if he's in your Dream 100. So I create specific ads to target the followers of each person on my Dream 100 list. Each network is different and they change frequently, so you'll need to stay on top of the networks you want to use. But if you go to www.phillyhourfunnel.com, you can see the most up-to-date training for each network. About 40% of my traffic comes from this strategy. Promotion strategy number 3. So where does the last 30% come from? About 10% comes from marketing, search engine optimization, and other things we're doing each day, but the last 20% comes from something I learned called integration marketing from my first mentor, Mark Joyner. He wrote an awesome book by the same name that shows you how to integrate into the sales flow of your Dream 100. If you look at the sales path that customers of people on your Dream 100 are going through, you can find places where it would make sense for your products or services to be offered. The idea is to integrate your offers into their natural sales funnel. Can you put one of your products on one of their thank you pages? Can you put your ad in a PS on their emails? Could you co-create a product that you both promote and both get customers from? How can you integrate into your Dream 100 sales funnels? This way, it's not just one and done, instead you will get a continuous stream of customers. There are thousands of creative ways to integrate with your Dream 100. There are so many ways to drive traffic and fill your funnels. But all my strategies are built on the foundation of the Dream 100. When you understand the strategy behind how and why this works, you can quickly and easily start getting customers into your funnel. Again, the tactics will change. But if you master the Dream 100 strategy, you will always be able to fill your funnels with new people. Conclusion, your invitation. Phew. I'm sure that right now you're probably feeling like you have been drinking from a fire hose, and I totally understand that. The concepts I've laid out here took me over 10 years to discover from dozens of different mentors and a whole lot of trial and error. I wish I'd had something like this when I got started. I hope that instead of feeling overwhelmed, you'll realize that this is actually a huge shortcut. I only shared in these pages those things that have been proven to work in my own and our other members' businesses. You can have faith, knowing that you're not implementing stuff that has been proven in hundreds of different markets. The diagrams that I included in each chapter should also help you quickly recall the core messages so you'll be able to reflect on them over and over again and refer to them quickly as you build your cult, create your products, tell your stories, and build your funnels. If you're wondering where you should start, this is what I'd recommend. 1. Become very clear about who you want to serve and what new opportunity you will create. 2. Get results for your beta group. Your results will become the foundation your expert business will grow from. 3. Become a master storyteller. This is the most important skill you can learn. 4. Change the world. Your message has the ability to change people's lives, so use it. I hope that reading this book has been a great investment of your time. I spent over 18 months writing it and rewriting it because I wanted it to be perfect for you. But no matter how good you make a book, it can never be as good as having me or my team work with you personally on your funnel, stories, and presentation. If you'd like to work more closely with us to develop your expert business, I invite you to attend one of our funnel hackathon events. During these events, we spend a few days in a small group working together to build your mass movement, create your stories, build your presentation, and launch your funnels. If you'd be interested in coming to our next funnel hackathon, you can get more information at www.funnelhackathon.com. After you apply there, someone on my team will contact you. If you're a good fit, we could be meeting at my office later this month. I'm a big believer that money follows speed. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Let's get your message out to the world. I also invite you to join our private Facebook group of fellow funnel hackers like yourself. You can meet others who are using this process and can share their stories with you. Join us at www.projectclickfunnels.com. Now that we're wrapping up Expert Secrets, I want to end where we started. Throughout our lives, we go through different stages. For most of us in this expert space, there was a time when we focused on growth. We studied books, learned and tested things, and became the people we felt we needed to become. We each followed our own path. And no matter how much time we focused on growth, after a while it got old. We started to wonder, is there anything else? There's got to be more. We get to that stagnation point, because growth is just half of what we need to have true fulfillment in life. The second half of fulfillment comes from contribution. I want to congratulate you for taking that next step, moving beyond mere personal growth and deciding to use your life lessons to contribute and help others. I know that as you do that, you'll become more and more fulfilled. This is one of the wonderful benefits of launching an expert-based business and selling products and programs. Throughout this book, I've talked a lot about conversion rates and how to make the most money from the least amount of ad spend. And that's great. It's important. But what it all comes down to, what matters the most, is not how much money you make. It's how many lives you impact. The money is just a cool way to keep track of what's happening. Getting people to give you money is also one of the best ways you can hold them accountable to their goals. I struggled with my business for almost 2 years because I was so scared of investing in myself. I was never able to ask other people to invest in the products and services I created either. It wasn't until I started making financial commitments with different coaches and mentors that I was finally able to become congruent. Because I was investing in myself, I was able to go out and ask others to invest in themselves with my products and services. I know selling may not be your favorite activity. But when people pay you, it gives them the transformation they need to change their lives. It's a cool cycle that we have a chance to go through. You get to create something, test it out, and, if it works, you get paid. The more you focus on that cycle, the more lives you will be able to change. The Expert Secrets process focuses on one core funnel, the perfect webinar, getting you into the habit of producing a live event every single week. Consistency pays. And if you spend any time inside my ClickFunnels or Funnel Hacker communities, you know there are lots of other ways to monetize your knowledge, provide value to your customers, and make money. You can just keep stacking funnel upon funnel based on what your audience needs and wants. I want to invite you to hang out with me and the other amazing people in my world. Spend time in our Facebook groups, watch our videos, come to our events, and make friends with other people like you. They may be in a different market and have a different message, but they have the same mission. They're trying to change the world in their own little way. That's been my driving force for the last decade, and I just feel so blessed to have a chance to work with entrepreneurs like you who are doing the exact same thing. With that said, I encourage you to master the skills in this book. Become a master storyteller. Really become the vehicle for change that I know you can be. After you've done that, I encourage you to go deeper. Spend more time with us and figure out how to take your company, your business, and your customers' lives to the next level. Thanks for spending this time with me. I'll talk to you soon.